with the Lightning last year, has played 6 minutes.
All right, guys, Scott here from UG Series.
Hello and welcome to this London Lightning broadcast on SportsLive24.net as the Bolts take on the defending National Basketball League of Canada champs in the Windsor Express. Good evening, my name is Marty Thompson. Welcome to Budweiser Gardens for the opening game of the 2014-15 NBLC season for the London Lightning. I'm joined as always by Chris Croucher. Chris, are you pumped? This is going to be a great season.
Oh man, this has been a whirlwind of an off season here for both teams. I can't wait to see the season get started.
Well, let's get started with the London Lightning here as the opening ceremonies get sorted out. New coach, same expectations for the London Lightning.
It's championships or bust in London. If they don't win it this year, maybe we see more changes. But in the meantime, they've got a fast, exciting team, and their owner thinks it might just be the best team in Lightning history.
Carlos Knox comes in with a big resume in terms of developing players, something that this league is obviously designed around. But we will take in the national anthem here. Again, the opening game of the London Lightning season, London versus Windsor, the 4-1 rivalry here on SportsLive24.net. Here at Budweiser Gardens, the upper bowl is open again as the London Lightning once again donate thousands of free tickets to some deserving children. But let's get to London Lightning's coach and Carlos Knox coming into this team with a very, very hefty resume.
Well, he's got an extensive background with basketball, having won at the University of, I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, IUPUI. And he also coached in the Saudi Arabian League. And he spent some time as an assistant in the WNBA with the Indiana Fever, but most notably, he has a Pro-Am league that plays in the summer that's attracted a lot of top talent in past years, such as George Hill from the Pacers, Paul George from the Pacers. It's even seen some run from guys like Kevin Durant and guys like Lance Stevenson. He knows talent, he knows basketball, and one difference we're going to see from him compared to Richardson, Richardson relied on veterans, almost to his downfall a bit at the end of last season. Knox is a guy who's not only going to trust his young players, but he's also going to develop them and make them better as the season goes on.
On the other end of the sideline, you have Bill Jones leading his team to a NBLC championship, and this offseason was a big one in terms of player turnover for the Windsor Express. They lost Stephen Bonneau and Darren Duncan. How is Jones going to sort of transition out of that, even though he hasn't really had those players come back that have been able to fill that void?
Well, it's going to be a very different look for the Windsor Express. Almost everything that happened on offense for them ran through either Bonneau or Darren Duncan. Duncan being sort of more the passer and leader of the offense, and Bonneau was just that explosion that you looked for. Well, it's going to be different as it might switch to more of a big-oriented lineup because that's where most of their veterans are returning.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. You have obviously Chris Commons, and then you have players like Ryan Anderson coming in from Ottawa, a couple players coming in from Ottawa.
Well, the two notable ones are Fred Sturdivant and Ryan Anderson. Anderson averaged 18.2 points per game last year, and he's a dynamite scorer. And he can also play a bit more of the small forward position. He's really more of a wing player. And with Sturdivant, you're getting a guy who really sort of expanded his role in Ottawa with the trade of Jermaine Johnson. In fact, after the trade, he was averaging 13 points per game and 8 rebounds. He's only 25. He's a guy that could look for a breakout, but I wonder how many touches he's going to get considering how many bigs are already on Windsor and have experience in the league.
Tony Bennett, he has not returned to the London Lightning, but his rights were traded to Windsor just a couple days ago for the rights to Stephen Bonneau. I know you're really high on Tony Bennett.
Well, Tony Bennett personally is one of my favorite players in the league. I think he does a great job of distributing on offense and still making some buckets himself, and he's a great defender. However, for the Lightning, it makes sense because the opportunity to potentially add a guy like Stephen Bonneau, who just got selected in the NBDL draft, if he doesn't make it to the D-League and London has the opportunity to add a guy who averaged 22 points per game, considering the depth they already have at the guard position, it makes sense to sort of take that lottery ticket that you can hope to cash in later rather than necessarily relying on Bennett now, who might even just be a bench player with all the talent the Lightning added.
Lots of breaking news to give you. We obviously haven't been on air in a couple months. But yes, Bonneau has been drafted by the Fort Wayne Mad Ants of the NBA D-League. And he really showed it last year, just right down to the wire with this Windsor team that beat London in 7 games in the semifinal. He was very, very instrumental in that team.
Yes, and that entire series was incredible, and to see both these teams clash again is a real treat.
Absolutely. Of course, the season ended for the London Lightning in Game 7 of that semifinal in Windsor. A game that obviously got taken over in terms of media-wise for a lot of long reasons. We won't get into that. Everyone's already heard the story. But Windsor went on to beat the Island Storm. Now, the Storm are a team that that the Lightning are going to take on. Same goes for Windsor, rather, in just a couple of weeks. They have really built their roster over the last couple of months very, very early, and they've got some strong players as well on that roster. But one notable one that we saw was Adrian Moss actually just left the Island Storm, or got released, rather. Yeah.
He's an interesting player too, especially in this very guard-heavy league.
Yeah.
Right now we're having a big standing ovation here at the Budweiser Gardens.
Absolutely. A couple players from the 1972 Summit Series team on hand. Lots of people on hand, including the, hey, Halloween ended. That's not happening anymore. Also, the mayor-elect for London is Matt Brown is also on hand. I'd like to be talking to him later on as well. All right, so we're just moments away here. We're going to hear the starting lineup for the London Lightning. What can we expect from this starting lineup right out of the gate?
Lots and lots of scoring. Coach Knox has come out of the gate and said we want to make a lot of baskets off of transition plays, and especially look to guys like Stephen McDowell and Al Stewart as they battle it out almost for the starting job. Two very different styles. McDowell, a three-point shooter, a slasher. He's all about the offense. But Stewart is steady. He's been a contributor in this league for 3 years, including a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. So seeing who ends up taking the starting job the rest of the season will be very interesting as it carries on.
Absolutely, and there is Mayor-elect Matt Brown of London, Ontario. 2 other games going on tonight. The Mississauga Power taking on Brampton, and also out on the East Coast, the St. John Millrats are taking on the Moncton Miracles. That's going to be another interesting game to look out for. Obviously, take a look at your social media feeds for that one. So again, the inaugural tip-off here, getting things started at Budweiser Gardens. London Lightning versus Windsor Express coming up here in moments. But again, we just had a quick look at the Windsor Express lineup, and they've got DeAndre Thomas obviously in that. Let's talk a little bit about DeAndre. Back again, weighing in at 300 pounds according to their latest estimate.
Well, that's an estimate for sure. DeAndre Thomas is a very, very physical player. He can scare you down in the post, especially in a league where there aren't a lot of guys his size that you can match up against him.
Absolutely. So here we are with the starting lineup for Windsor. You got Garrett Gibson on this one. Quinnell Brown also will be coming out here shortly. DeAndre Thomas, as mentioned. Chris Commons, as we mentioned him as well. He's a very, very big scorer. And yeah, that should pretty much wrap it up there. Also, Dominique Buckley as well, the other guard that we put into that starting five for the Windsor Express, the defending NBLC champs. And again, we talked a little bit about before, but lots of good forwards on this team for the Windsor Express.
Yeah, it definitely went from the guards being the strength of the team last year, but because of the certain players returning, certain players just completely leaving, the front court now has become sort of the most important part for this team with guys like Thomas and Commons.
Well, you heard a little jeer for DeAndre Thomas. You have DeAndre in that, and also Kevin Lascelles, two players that have had some trouble, we'll say trouble, with the London Lightning and also the fans. Obviously, Lascelles got fined twice last year, once for taunting London Lightning fans here in London. So lots of animosity between these two teams.
Well, the bad boys of the NBA may have been the Detroit Pistons, but at least in the early goings for this league, it seems like the Windsor Express might be taking that role.
Absolutely. We're just moments away from learning the starting lineup for this London Lightning. One player we saw in the preseason get lots of minutes would be Maurice Bolden, a guy that's been carried over. He was thought to be a product of Richardson, but now he's gaining new life under this team.
Well, it's a big coup for them because anytime you can add a 6'11" guy with small forward skills, that's ridiculous. I don't want to compare him to Kevin Durant because that's really not fair. But we're talking about a 6'11" guy who can move. And that's really rare for this league. Richardson kept trying to turn him into a post player though. Based on what I've seen in the preseason, it looks like Knox has more of a small forward wing role for him, which I think better suits his skill set. Absolutely,
there's Maurice Bolden taking a stretch. Speaking about big men, Marvin Phillips, I think that's all I need to say about that.
Definitely the most important addition from the London Lightning. He was averaging 15 and 10 before taking a gig over in France, and he was the heart and soul of this team. Things almost collapsed for a little bit there without him, eventually finding their way.
Absolutely, so here we are, the starting lineup for the 2014-15 London Lightning, two-time NBLC champs against the only other winner in the Windsor Express. So it looks like our first one is going to be Stephen McDowell, another returning player. Of course, one of the 5 returning players on this team. And now Zane Johnson as well, getting lots of cuts in the preseason. Not really too much of a surprise in the backcourt anyways there. And then it looks like we've got Elvin Mims. Yes, we do. Elvin Mims into a assistant coach player role here, as you see the full lineup on your screen right now. And then now we're going to see the final one, Emmanuel Little. All right, so there we go. So Emmanuel Little, and then obviously Marvin Phillips. You would assume Marvin Phillips here. Yes, here he is.
Expect a big crowd reaction here.
First game back in London in, probably around 10 months. So again, these London Lightning fans very happy to see Marvin Phillips back. So there we go. So we got McDowell, Johnson, Phillips, Little, and then am I missing someone else? Oh yeah, Elvin Mims as well. Of course, you almost forget Elvin Mims because he's always there.
He's Mr. Steady for the Lightning. He's definitely their most reliable player year in, year out. And when they did have that losing streak, Elvin Mims is the guy who stepped up and took the team over and ended up leading them. So now you're looking at a guy, he's taken over an assistant coach role too with this team. So he's going to be expected to be a leader for everyone on the Lightning.
Elvin Mims, again, his 11th year as a professional basketball player, 3rd in total rebounds and blocks last year. He is going to be called upon to be big on the boards again this year. Listen to the crowd. We are about ready to go, finally. It's been a long time, and I'm sure many people in London Lightning have been thinking about this day, and obviously that Game 7, such a rough end to that series for London, who kept it so close to the very last game. As here we are, ready to go. London Lightning versus the Windsor Express. Again, we'll try to keep you updated on the 2 other games going on tonight. Brampton and Mississauga, the Peel Region rivalry there. And then obviously St. John and Moncton. Big rivalry night here in the NBLC 2014-2015 season about to get underway. Will likely be DeAndre here. Be ready to take it for Windsor. And probably Marvin Phillips for the London Lightning. Very loud here inside the Budweiser Gardens.
One of the big notable differences you'll notice is Emmanuel Little has the shiniest shoes in the NBL. I'm going to call it now.
We've seen 0 minutes of action this year, but he certainly does have the.
He's already a standout. Already a standout.
Literally standing out. All right, Chris Commons to take it for Windsor as we see Marvin Phillips taking his time. All right, folks, let's play ball. We're back. London Lightning versus Windsor Express. We are underway here at Budweiser Gardens. Brown starts with it, chips it into DeAndre, and he backs off Elvin Mims and misses to start off this season.
Elvin Mims is going to have a really tough matchup against DeAndre Thomas. He's lucky Thomas airballed that one.
McDowell out to Phillips, and now in the corner to Little. Get his first look, and didn't really work out. This is a Windsor ball, rather.
That's the sort of game you can expect from Little, though. He's a prototypical wing player.
We see Gibson starting the play here. Off to Buckley. Now to DeAndre at the top. Gibson up against Stephen McDowell. Chris Commons up against Mims. Fade from Commons misses completely.
So far we've seen 3 air balls. Don't expect that to last long. Both teams capable of putting up a lot of points.
McDowell takes a long shot, and the air balls are adding up. As, of course, everyone in the stadium is supposed to stand up until London scores a goal. Or not scores a goal, scores a couple points, at least 1 point. A lot of people are just sitting down at this point.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wait here, but again, look for both teams to hit the 100-point mark in this matchup.
10:50 left in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, you're watching SportsLive24.net's production of the London Lightning basketball campaign here, 2014-15 season. London against Windsor. London is in white. The Express are in black. You see Mims taking it now, and that's a foul.
Phillips was calling for a 3. I don't know how he doesn't get the ball there. Zane had him wide open.
Our first foul called here. Sorry, out of bounds, my apologies. Little, off to McDowell. And another deep 3 from McDowell and another air ball.
Looked like he shot that one from Windsor. Don't think you're going to make it from there.
Express on the inbound. 1:30 off the clock here. Still no score. See Gibson taking it up right now. Up the top to Commons for 3. No good.
Commons isn't a guy you can keep leaving open for 3. You know what he's going to try and do. He really plays that stretch forward role really well.
And that's going to be a foul against the Express and Gary Gibson. So Little on the inbound here. At least one guy standing up, or a couple on that bench anyways. McDowell. Off to Phillips. Mims on the fake. He's up against Quinnell Brown here, and he drains it.
Tough shot. He takes advantage of a good matchup against Quinnell Brown. Gets Brown back with a little bit of shimmy shake and makes the bucket from a weird angle, too.
2-0 here. London has the lead. DeAndre Thomas open shot misses.
And that's about how to expect a DeAndre Thomas jump shot to go.
McDowell gets it back off of Little here. We know McDowell has the speed.
Gibson's doing a great job of defending him right now, though.
Marvin Phillips for 3.
Speaking of stretch forwards, Marvin Phillips, excellent at making the 3-point shot. You can sometimes fall in love with it and stay out there too much. Keep an eye on and make sure you see him in the post, because if he's not in the post, the Lightning lack rebounds.
Brown with it now, up against Little. And that's a tough match for Brown as we see Little towering over him. see Johnson rather taking it back. He's going to take a quick three. Misses.
Johnson spent some time in the summer league working on his game with Derek Fisher and Phil Jackson. Expect a big year from him.
You would think. Gibson. Out of Commons. It'll drop in for Brown.
Great play by Brown, adjusting the shot in midair and getting the little loop around layup.
Emmanuel Little. Off to Phillips for three, and it's good.
Phillips with another key three. If he can keep making that shot, we can see another big game from Phillips. You know the crowd's eating this up.
Well, we saw Phillips, especially near the end of his time with the Lightning last season, taking a lot of three-point shots. He sort of found that shot in the finals when he became MVP just the year before. What do you make of that? I've heard some fans that aren't too keen on it as we see another shot.
If he does it in moderation, it's not a problem because he is capable of making that shot. But sometimes when it's not falling for him, he can fall in love with it, and he ends up sort of taking more three-point shots than he should.
7:50 on the clock. Lightning have an 8-2 lead here on Windsor. Express have the ball. DeAndre pushes, fades, and no good. Phillips into Little. Back to McDowell. To Emmanuel Little.
Phillips wanted that pass.
He just takes a shot over DeAndre, if you could call it that.
I think he had more time than he thought he had there.
Gibson off to DeAndre Thomas. He's going to push his way into the key, and it will not drain for him, but Chris Commons has it back.
Easiest bucket Chris Commons could ask for. You see the havoc that DeAndre Thomas can wreak down low. Just because a guy his size, you almost have to put two guys on him or else he'll just back you down.
Phillips to Zane Johnson. He's going to cut around. Oh, tough three. Misses.
Not sure I like the three-pointer while covered by two defenders there.
And we're going to see the first changes of the game. It's going to come on the London Lightning side. We're going to see Quincy Akoli come into this game. And also we're going to see John Hart. And they're going to be taking Elvin Mims and Emmanuel Little off.
Keep an eye on John Hart. During the preseason and training camp, he made some ridiculous shots. Seems like a hard guy to stop.
And of course, Quincy Akoli, a Canadian, he has NBLC experience with the Halifax Rainmen a couple years ago as well. As we see the Express have the ball, Commons, deep three, it is no good. Batted around and taken all the way back. Now here's Gibson, it's good for three. 8-7 now, the Lightning still have the lead. We're just about halfway through this first quarter. McDowell has it, off to Phillips, and now to Zane Johnson. Here we go, John Hart getting his cuts in, and you seemed impressed with him. He was making some pretty ridiculous shots in the preseason.
During the preseason game against Mississauga especially, I saw him make one where he had two much taller defenders get up there to block the shot, and I thought there was no way this doesn't come back and hit him in the face. And then it just somehow launched right over them all and swished.
Brown cuts in, it's good.
Quinnell Brown, just a solid player. He was a perfect complement when they have Benoit and Duncan. Maybe he's a guy that'll step into that scorer's role for them.
Express have a 9-8 lead here, 5:40 on the clock. London down for the first time in this game. John Hart for three.
And there you go, you see that shot. He's got such a pretty stroke on that shot. John Hart, a great player to have on this team, and of course Coach Knox knows him from the days at IUPUI, where Coach Knox was a coach and John Hart played.
Stephen McDowell had a lot to say about John Hart. He was talking with the league website there a couple weeks ago and said that John Hart is a guy, he said he could shoot over anyone at any minute. He said that's what makes him so explosive. And again, with those circus shots, certainly
it's a very fair evaluation. He's able to make some shots that, my eyes sort of spin in my head thinking of some of the shots he's made.
Media timeout as we see the Windsor Express bring in Carl Finley. So again, the score is 11-9. The Lightning have the lead here. You're watching SportsLive24.net's production of the London Lightning here at Budweiser Gardens. Initial thoughts out of this first half, obviously a small sample size, but both teams looks like they're sort of started to shoot a little bit better than they did at the start.
Well, they definitely start off with a little bit of rust, but they're getting back into the things that they know how to do well. For London and Coach Knox specifically, his style of play, he knows to have good guards, and of course it's not exactly old news that Marvin Phillips is a good player. He made some really tough shots out there. I also love what John Hart's been doing. He's made a couple of big shots. It's very early so far, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from both teams. Windsor, of course, getting strong play from Thomas and Commons, and they're going to need that in the absence of Bonneau and Duncan.
Absolutely. So again, just 40 seconds left in this media timeout. The score is 11-9. The Lightning have the lead here on SportsLive24.net. And you know, we're going to get into this a little bit more, but the London Lightning have two guys from London on their roster, and you tell them a little bit about them. We obviously have Clinton Springer-Williams and Enrico Diloretto as well.
Well, Diloretto's an interesting guy to me because he's listed as a point guard, but I've seen him play some shooting guard too. He's able to play both roles for the team. The other guy I like is Clinton Springer-Williams. He's from, he's played at RMC actually here in London. And he's the type of guy, he's able to play shooting guard, small forward, and what you get from both guys is some versatility. Diloretto, he looked good in the black and yellow game. Didn't see him as much in the preseason game. But look for both of them to come off the bench and play some pretty solid minutes.
So here we are. So the Windsor Express gets started. Commons. And now into Gary Gibson. Again, second really nice three there just before the media timeout. Off to Brown. As we see, Kevin LaSalle is now into the game. Is sets a pick there as Brown takes the shot and misses. Gets his own rebound. Comes back around, and it was swatted by Marvin Phillips. Still couldn't keep it out of the net.
Quinnell Brown, again, just that veteran presence. He had a good job as a small forward to go along with that backcourt of Bonneau and Duncan. He might be the guy to step up because other than Brown, that backcourt looks really tame right now.
Coley, he gets manhandled down low, and it'll be Windsor ball. And Windsor will be making a substitution as well. And it looks like R.J. Wells is coming into this game by the looks of it. Windsor ball here. 11-11 is the score. 4:15 on the clock. Commons up against Coley here. This is going to be a nice matchup. Coley takes it all the way back, and now we have Wells. Chips it in, and the shot clock has expired. 4 minutes on the clock here. Again, if you want to get engaged with us here at SportsLive24.net, use the hashtag NBLC. Again, hashtag NBLC. We'll be checking that on Twitter all night. And we'll be for sure to get to some of those comments on there. And again, lots of other games happening here tonight, as we obviously have the Mississauga-Brampton game that's just getting underway shortly here by the looks of it. We're also trying to keep you updated on the St. John Millrats game with the Moncton Miracle. As that last check, it was 55-43 for the Millrats just as it hits halftime. Looks like they're still in halftime right now. And you see Windsor sink another one in the form of Quinnell Brown. McDowell takes it. 3:28 on the clock.
Big shot, Stephen McDowell. Wow, I don't know how he made that one.
14-13, the Lightning have a lead again. Commons takes it. Takes it into the corner. LaSalle comes across. Deep shot is no good that time from Brown. McDowell wiggles his way down low, and he finds Maurice Bolden, who's coming to this game as well. Alvin Mims. Now into Marvin Phillips. He's got 3 seconds. He gets it off, and it's no good. And Mo Bolden will finish it off of a wacky bounce.
Maurice Bolden again showing that height. He's definitely looking to be an impact player on this team. If he gets Coach Knox's trust, he could have a breakout year too. He had some troubles getting out of Coach Richardson's doghouse.
Long shot from Kevin LaSalle, and it's no good. Score remains 16-13, 2:18 on the clock. Stephen McDowell using his speed here, and no call. The ball falls out of play.
Surprised there was no call. That actually looked like a charge on McDowell. I thought Lozelle got over.
And now Al Stewart comes into this game. I can't believe we went through that pregame without mentioning Al Stewart, a 2-time defensive player of the year, played for the Island Storm, was their captain up until this past offseason, tried out with London and made it.
Yeah, he's definitely a great player in this league. Averaged 10 points and 5 assists in his entire career, including an All-Star appearance in 2012-13 and 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, as Emmanuel Little sends that ball into the 4th row. But Stewart's the type of guy, you have McDowell, who's your instant offense, that sort of pop type of a player. Stewart's Mr. Steady. You know, he's never going to wow you, but he's just going to make the smart play every time, and you can count on him for that.
As we see R.J. Wells taking it up. He's going to play around the pick. Shifted across. Long shot is no good from Windsor. The ball falls out of play. London ball, 1:30 on the clock. And if you're just joining us, this is just the first quarter of play here at Budweiser Gardens. At the half, we'll be talking to Bill Ovens. Oh, I missed that, man.
Find out what's cooking.
We're finding out what's cooking with Bill Ovens. Still a great name. Here we go, Hart. Tries to usher through as we see Maurice Bolden taking it. Interesting to see Al Stewart, who just gets the ball here, and he's going to take it up. And big block, but Little finishes it.
Good job by Little to follow up that play. I'm surprised Stewart was left open enough. You know he's going to try and drive to the basket when he can. That's just his MO.
Stewart just seems like an out-and-out point guard, right?
Yes.
That's sort of his MO. But, you know, here he was, you know, not taking the ball up in that instance as we see him taking it here.
Well, that's the sort of versatility that comes with having a guy like John Hart out there. He is more of a shooting guard, but he does have some point skills, so you don't feel terrible having him run the offense for a bit.
Absolutely. Al Stewart, just one of those names you know. Just one of the names you know from the league. Obviously, London having to play the Island Storm in the 2012-13 finals. Al Stewart actually got a teaching job in Chicago for that series, so he couldn't make it. But I remember people around the London Lightning were talking about Al Stewart because back then they had played him 4 times throughout the year and just saying how good he was and how pumped they were to bring him this year.
He's one of those guys, you may not see him on a stat sheet, but if you watch the game, you know the type of impact that he has. He has all those intangibles that coaches just love.
And DeAndre Thomas misses the first shot, and it just got pretty loud in there. People are pretty happy he missed the shot. Yeah.
Well, the crowd seems to really love DeAndre, although I don't think they were quite cheering him on there.
Of course, DeAndre Thomas, a former London Lightning player, I should say. Of course, he lost out with Richardson, according to what you read in certain reports, allegedly, because about his weight. But anyways, here he is, and I'm sure Windsor are happy with whatever form he comes to the arena at, because he's always good.
Well, Thomas has really found a home in Windsor as Bolden misses the 3 there. And him along with Loiselle, they're guys that just sort of found their place, and you may look at the suspensions, but they've been productive, and I can understand why Windsor would want to keep them. They just know how to use these players the right way, and I think those guys recognize it, and that's why they stay.
Here comes a cut in. So back spins on it. DeAndre Thomas misses the shot.
Wow, DeAndre Thomas shooting a fadeaway. That's something I never thought I'd see.
There we go. So after 1 quarter play, the London Lightning are up 18-15 here. 2 fouls for the Express, just 1 for this London Lightning team. And your initial thoughts, I guess, we saw Al Stewart come into this game, make an instant impact. Obviously, London are going to be very deep at the guard position. What are your thoughts so far in this quarter?
Well, I like the backcourt of Stewart and Hart. That's a nice mix of having a distributor along with a shooter. John Hart's actually looked very dangerous, even some of the baskets where even some of the offensive possessions, where he hasn't actually gotten the ball. He's looked really strong. I also love Stewart in the backcourt. Bolden, I didn't see as much as I thought I might. He's expected to be a breakout guy this year. Maybe get him the ball a bit more, see him down in the post a bit more, but we'll have to see as the game goes on.
Getting the kids out. They're all wired from the Halloween candy they got last night. And of course, it was Halloween last night, right? Yeah, of course it was.
Looks like there's a couple of them with a costume on still.
18-15 here at Budweiser Gardens, and of course, lots of off-season talk to cover. And in case you missed it, it's really hard to sort of get in touch with the league. But the Ottawa Skyhawks they're not going to be included in the league, just in case you missed it. Obviously some money troubles there. The league just decided to vote them out for this coming season. It's difficult because they played at the Canadian Tire Centre, huge arena. Home of the Ottawa Senators, 18,000 plus rather. It's tough to beat the Ottawa Skyhawks, but Windsor obviously benefited from that. Got some quality players in Ryan Anderson, and Sturdivant as well.
Yeah, adding Sturdivant and Anderson were big game changers, especially with the loss of Beno and Duncan. I know I keep saying that, but that's because that's the type of impact that these guys had. They were the Windsor Express's identity. So by adding a guy like Ryan Anderson, you sort of overcome the loss. We haven't actually seen Anderson yet tonight, but it helps you overcome their loss. And having Sturdivant in the front court, he's a different type of player than Thomas. He's a different type of player than Commons. He plays down low and stays down low like Thomas does, but he's a little more athletic. He's lankier. He's quicker than a guy like Thomas. And he's got more of a Chris Commons body type, if that makes any sense at all.
That does make lots of sense.
Thank you, Marty. So those are the type of guys that they've added there. And again, if Tony Bennett comes, you've got another point guard there. So having Bennett and Anderson in the backcourt, that's a very solid backcourt. That would have been NBL's second team backcourt last year.
Absolutely. Of course, the big changes that we saw was a shorter schedule. I believe it's now down to 36 games, and then also 4 Canadians now required on the roster. We saw teams like Moncton coming through and sort of trying to find those Canadians last second. But London seemed to have it right. Lots of good Canadian talent.
Well, London's already added 2 hometown boys, so there's some of the Canadian talent right there. The Canadians they have on the roster this year are Clinton Springer-Williams and Enrico Di Loretto, who, as we mentioned, are from London, and Quincy Acoli and Kurt Alexander. Kurt actually played for Drake for his NCAA ball. Drake, a pretty good basketball school.
Mims cuts around DeAndre Thomas, and it's blocked to start this second quarter. Windsor start off with it. This is Finley. Takes the ball.
Already you're seeing the impact of Fred Sturdivant, though. He got up high to block that ball.
DeAndre Thomas backs in. We got 10 seconds of the shot clock, and that's going to be a foul. Yes, we have Sturdivant now in the game for the Windsor Express.
For those at home, that'll be number 4 on the Express. Again, he's a little thin for a big man, but he's only 25. He's 6'8", and he can just flat out jump out of the gym if he has to.
To tie it up, it's good. So 18 all here, 30 seconds through the second quarter. And it's going to be a foul by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It looked like Thomas was straight up and down, but the refs saw it differently, and we're going to see some foul shots here.
So now it's coming all the way back here. Looks like it'll be Emmanuel Little taking the shots. Averaged, what do you say, never averaged more than 10 or less than 10 points a season.
He's played 3 pro years so far, and never once has he averaged below 10 points per game, including 15 point per game season he's had there. He's just sort of consistent and steady at every pro stop he's had.
And his second shot coming up here. See Bill Jones in the background, directing his men to try to take a lead here. 20 to 18 now. The Express are down, but they have the ball. Backing into it. Sturdivant back to Finley. And RJ Wells, he takes a quick 3. It's good.
Nice shot right there. Good ball movement by Windsor. Almost everyone saw a touch on that play.
Bolden to Little. Switches it around. Now to Mims. On the fade, it is no good.
Great hustle by Little. Eventually the Lightning getting that bucket there, but Manuel Little came from almost behind the three-point line to go and get that rebound. Good hustle.
Long shot is good from Finley, and the ref indicates that's for 3.
Good shot there, and sort of an answer to that exciting play by the Lightning.
Here comes John Hart, fades, finds Little, passes through, gorgeous! Mims cannot finish it though.
That pass deserved a basket. You see some of those point guard skills that John Hart has by making that pass.
And here we go, so LaSalle takes the ball up and get 10-14 on the clock, another foul. And it looks like there's gonna be a quick change here. Coming on will be Quinnell Brown. And leaving will be Kevin LaSalle. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Quick one out to Finley, another quick shot, and it's no good.
We've seen a lot of air balls here, uncharacteristic, although great steal there by Finley to make up for it. But again, can't put it away.
Stewart moves across, finds Elvin Mims, now to Bolden. Puts it across, and that is going to be another foul.
Bolden had Tony Bennett on him that time. Bennett knowing how to defend him as they were teammates just last year.
Emmanuel Little coming out, Marvin Phillips coming in. So again, 2 fouls each at this point. Just under 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
Been a while since we've seen Chris Commons in the game. They could use him right now.
Johnson out to Maurice Bolden. He's got Elvin Mims in front here. He'll take it back to Stewart. Cuts around now to Marvin Phillips. No good.
A lot of people forget that Phillips has that range. It's important for the defender to stay up on him. That time Windsor did a good job of making sure Phillips didn't get the easy shot.
Commons, good, no, it's no good. You see Stewart cutting around, he's got Marvin Phillips to his right. Stewart will take it all the way, no, quick pass. Phillips with it, now to Johnson. Intercepted.
A little bit too fancy by the Lightning there. At some point you just got to get to the basket.
And that's going to be a foul against Maurice Bolden by the looks of it.
I think that might be Mims' big hack.
Let's see what the call is. It'll be against Maurice Bolden.
Pardon me.
So that's his second foul, team's third. Now the inbound. Quickly, quick shot here from Windsor. It's no good. That was RJ Wells in that shot there.
Uncharacteristically low scoring game so far.
24-22, Windsor have the lead. You're watching SportsLive24.net's coverage of the London Lightning. Ball falls out of play. London will get it back by the looks of it. Just under 9 minutes left to play in the second quarter now. So Gibson comes in and replaces Tony Bennett, of course, the former London Lightning player. First game back in the league, just a couple days after being signed, of course, is now in London. See Stewart cutting around, and Maurice Bolden is open. He's going to find Stewart, who bobbles it. And that's going to be out off of Windsor.
Some sloppy passing by the Lightning. They had some good ball movement going in the preseason, but they just can't seem to get a handle on the ball. It's almost like someone rubbed some butter on it.
I mean, is that a thing? Maurice Bolden. Off to Elvin Mims and back to Bolden here. St. Johnson to Phillips. Good.
Now there's some of the good passing there. Bolden sends it into Johnson. Johnson makes a great bounce pass to Phillips, who puts it home.
Stephen McDowell comes in. By the looks of it, he will replace Zane Johnson. And there's Marvin Phillips again. He went to France just before the new year, if my memory is serving me right. And then has come back to the London Lightning. Making a big impact already.
Well, they need him to have a big year. He's by far the most productive NBL career of anyone on the Lightning.
Brown backs into Zane Johnson, and what's it gonna be? Be a foul.
Not sure I saw one there. Was it on Johnson? Yeah.
By the looks of it. 4 fouls to the Lightning, now 3 to the Windsor Express. Puts it around here. Takes it to the corner. Lots of ball movement from Windsor, and it works out. What a shot. That was Dominique Buckley on that one.
Dominique Buckley, mostly known for his defense, but he can put some three-pointers in the basket from long range.
Elvin Mims, distance, and it's no good. Quick check on that Mississauga-Brampton game. The Power are up 24-16 with just about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. We'll keep you updated on that one. And also the Mill Rats lead Moncton by a score of 86-70. That looks like it's in the third quarter by the looks of it. So that's just about getting out of hand there in New Brunswick.
Mill Rats an exciting team this year with Akil Carr, the Crime Stopper, joining them.
Absolutely. I guess talk a little bit about him. He's sort of a big deal on YouTube, what the kids tell me.
Well, if you YouTube his name, you'll see a little 5'6" guy get up and dunk the ball. It's like a little Spud Webb out there. It's pretty exciting to watch.
Absolutely, and bringing a big name to the league and one that's has some notoriety and carries some name to it with fans that have the internet at least.
He's a McDonald's All-American too. He's been to the game, and along with Renardo Sidney and the Island Storm, you start to see some top-level talent coming to the NBL. With a lot of those guys too, they're the type of guys, their play style wouldn't work in Europe, but it works here, and that's why you see the great thing about having a league like this here in North America.
Absolutely, as we have see Emmanuel Little come in, and as someone who's been to most of these games, especially in the last 2 years, you come in and you see the number 23 on a London Lightning jersey, and you think of Tim Ellis, right? And that's another thing we haven't touched on. He retired in the offseason.
Yeah, Tim Ellis a big loss in the leadership and defense department. He's the the NBL's all-time leader in rebounds, and he's also played the most games with the Lightning than any other player, second all-time. So he's a guy they're really going to miss in terms of the type of defense he provided, and he was sort of their Mr. Everything. He didn't need the ball, but he could shoot. He got all the rebounds. He played lockdown defense because he had such long arms. His presence will definitely be missed in London. Hopefully Little can step it up and play that role for them.
Absolutely. Of course, Ellis very rarely was injured, and he was the last remaining player to be on that championship roster in the first season in 2011, as we see Brown dropping that one 25-30. Now the Lightning are down by 5 points.
Quinnell Brown having an outstanding game. Maybe they are finding the answer from within with Quinnell Brown taking over the scoring.
Line shot is missed as we see Chris Commons taking it back. Quick chip out. This is Dominique Buckley. Misses it. Tipped out, and this is Little going one-on-one, and it's good.
Good job by Little attacking the defender, letting the play come to him. That defender didn't really have a chance but to go up and down, and there's no way Little was going to get stopped.
Closing the gap to 3 points, and now Little will have a chance to make it 2. 5 fouls now against the London Lightning, 4 from the Windsor Express. Seven minutes left, and it is a 2-point game, 30-28. The Windsor Express have the lead, and they have the ball. Gibson. Out to Brown. Still looking for some space here. Long shot is good.
Quinnell Brown is just feeling it. If I'm the Windsor Express, Quinnell Brown's taking every shot for a little bit.
And foul on the floor, and that's going to go to the London Lightning by the looks of it. Offensive foul against Little. Gibson cuts around here, over and back, and it's gonna go. Great job by Gibson to get his own rebound and keeps the Express lead now at 7 points.
Great job by Gibson. Replacing Darren Duncan's a tall order. He's done a fine job tonight.
McDowell. He's got Marvin Phillips, who's right here. He ushers Zane Johnson across, and that'll be Johnson taking the shots. Misses it. And here come the Windsor Express on the break, and that is finished. Great job by Dominique Buckley, and that's a timeout, London Lightning.
Buckley, a guy who just knows where to be on the floor. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing out there. He's not going to be as explosive as a Manoa or a Duncan, but he can definitely put up the odd point here and there.
You're watching the London Lightning versus Windsor Express here on SportsLive24.net. Again, the season opener for both teams, and trying to keep you updated on the games going across the NBLC tonight. Of course, Lots of rivalry games going on as we have the Moncton Miracles down to the St. John Millrats. Looks like by a score of about 86-70. That's just going into the third quarter. End of the first quarter against Mississauga and Brampton rather, 29-23. As we have the kids out here taking part in some Canadian Tire activities. Of course, Canadian Tire part of giving all these tickets to these people in the upper bowl. Again, a massive crowd here in London, likely above 6,000. Of course, they broke the NBLC record for attendance last year in one of these games.
In fact, if you look at the record book, almost all of them are held by London Lightning. I guess Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely makes sense. It's Vito Frigia, again, putting things on again this year, and he had a bold statement at that press conference that they had just a couple of weeks ago now when they released that roster, and what he said was that this London Lightning team is the best one they've ever put on the court. That was his statement. And then the next thing he said was, it just depends on how everyone else is doing in the league. Obviously, we've seen vast improvement in this league from day one, but he said, this is our best team, but other teams are getting better.
Yeah, if you look at the talent level from year one compared to now, the entire league has just upped its game. So while this may be the best London Lightning team ever, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have their run of this league, because teams like Windsor have stepped up their game. And you look at a team like out east of the Island Storm, they're another team that stepped up their game.
Absolutely huge team out there. Some former London Lightning players on that team. Jeremy Williams, for one. John Hart airballs that shot, and Marvin Phillips goes through the crowd.
Marvin Phillips, kind of a scary guy for a fan to see coming after him there.
Gibson. Gives it to Quinnell Brown. He fakes the shot on Little. Backs in. Fade is no good. Alvin Mims collects, and it'll be Little taking the ball up this time for the London Lightning. 5:20 on the clock. Cuts, fades, no good. This is Marvin Phillips on the offensive rebound, and he'll miss that. Gibson makes the play call. 5 minutes left. Don't look now, but the Express have a 37-28 lead. Now here to Dominique Buckley, and he misses it.
Nice job by Commons there. He just sort of threw it off the behind of, I believe that was John Hart when the ball was going out of bounds. Crafty little play.
Brown. Ready to take the ball in here. Alvin Mims comes out, Maurice Bolden comes in. Commons, it will not roll for him.
That seems to be a big inbounds play for Windsor. They've used that one a lot to Commons.
McDowell. Distance three.
Wow, long three by Stephen McDowell, and boy, did he ever drain that one.
37-31, that cuts the deficit on London's point. Now 4:20 on the clock. 5 fouls for Lightning, 4 for the Express. And no fouls there as we see Commons finishing it.
Gibson, glad Windsor got a point out of that after the way Gibson flew through there. Landed really hard too.
And it comes right back. Stephen McDowell with 2 points.
This is what you can see from McDowell. Anytime he comes off the bench, he just starts scoring in bunches. So that's the type of thing that the Lightning are going to do a lot with McDowell, is have him off the bench.
McDowell takes the ball up here for the Lightning. Swats away Gibson here. Bolden up against LaSalle. He's going to cut through, and he finishes.
Great job by Maurice Bolden to get some speed. Loiselle probably wasn't expecting that from a 6'11" man, but Bolden's able to make the cut, get a basket out of it, and now he's going to go to the foul line. Loiselle with a bit of a reputation with the refs, so maybe he got a little bit of help from I guess, the refs not being wild about him in the past.
Maurice Bolden at the line here for 2. And the 6'10" center. You know, was sort of inconsistent last season. Obviously couldn't stay out of Richardson's doghouse for part of that. So we see Carlos Knox, the man who replaced Richardson, looking on. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this first half. You're watching SportsLive24.net's coverage of the London Lightning. I'm Marty Thompson alongside Chris Croucher. That's Quinnell Brown, rather. He'll drain for 2.
Surprised Quinnell Brown didn't take the 3, but I'm pretty sure Windsor's happy with that too. Opens up a nice 4-point lead with only 3 minutes to go.
Looks like there's a foul on the play. Perhaps. And it looks like it's going to go against the Express and Quinnell Brown. So now both teams are at 5 fouls with just under 3 minutes left to play.
It's been a pretty clean game so far. Both teams, not necessarily the softest teams, they're pretty rough with each other when they play. Surprised there's only been 10 total fouls.
Phillips can't drain, and he can't get the ball back either.
One of the things you might notice if you're watching the wide view we have is Coach Knox not exactly as far away from the bench as Coach Richardson used to get.
That's true.
Much more subdued coaching style.
I think the fans in behind the home bench are going to miss Richardson in part because he was animated. Is that fair to say?
That's very, very fair to say.
He's up and down the sidelines, constantly up towards half and back. See, a long shot is good. No, it's no good.
We've seen Bennett make a lot of those shots for the Lightning, just a little out of his reach that time.
John Hart can't finish. It bounces around. It's on the ground now. And that's a tug of war. It'll be a drop ball.
I believe Windsor has... Nope.
Yep,
they do, actually.
It will be
Windsor
Express
has the arrow, yeah.
So Express get it back here. 2:24 on the clock. See Maurice Bolden coming back from the bench, and
not quite sure what the holdup is here.
Chris Commons walks over to take it, and we'll get this back underway. The other thing about Carlos Knox too is, you know, we talked a lot about, you know, Richardson being, you know, that animated, and we talked to Elvin Mims at that press conference, and he said, you know, the difference between the training camps from last training camp and this one is night and day, and he said Knox has a lot of patience for these players, and obviously in the development league that's important.
Well, with a lot of guys on the Lightning being like 24, 25, a guy like Knox, who not only will develop these players, but will actually give them some more playing time. Richardson, he leaned on his vets a little more than he should have last year, and there were times where a guy like Zane Johnson would be on fire and we'd see him go out of the game.
Yeah.
Knox won't be doing that as much. And I also think that when things maybe aren't necessarily going as well for the Lightning, having more of a calm present like Knox will be very different for them as opposed to Richardson, who we'd see at half court.
Tony Bennett with the second shot drained to make it 43-37 now, as we see Buckley coming out and Finley coming in by the looks of it. Bolden off to Little, and we are back underway. Quick steal from Windsor. We see Bennett coming across, and the refs getting back in it again. And that's going to be an offensive foul against Windsor and Kevin Lassell. So Kevin Lassell on his 3rd foul already, he's out of the game.
Hasn't even been on the court that much yet either. Again, the refs sort of keeping an eye on him.
Manuel Little comes across and gets set here. Bolden off to Hart. Now under 2 minutes left. Bolden up against Commons. McDowell, quick shot out of nowhere, and it's no good. Quinnell Brown passes it back. This is Tony Bennett. Tries to go right through Bolden, and that's traveling.
It looked almost like he was trying to go between Bolden's legs on that play. With the height difference, he might have been able to.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looked like Bolden sort of separated his legs, just made more room. He'll slip right under there. McDowell crawls across half court. The Express are up 43-37 on the Lightning. Phillips spins, fires, no good. Here we go. Windsor with it now. Finley. Bolden keeps it, chips it out to Hart. Now Stephen McDowell, a one-on-one situation with Buckley. He finds John Hart, he's kind of slippery, that John Hart. I mean, it's almost like he's got an agility factor to him. You know, McDowell's got the raw speed, and Hart can just sort of move around guys.
He's very shifty, and he's able to adjust his body to get his shot off without having to worry about getting swatted.
Huge swat from Maurice Bolden.
Speaking of a swat, wow, and he holds his eyes up. He holds his hand to see just how far that ball went. Great play by Bolden, getting up there and saying, get out of here to the ball.
And now Windsor start with just 8 seconds on the shot clock now, 30 seconds on the game clock. Bennett, quick three, no good. John Hart collects it, pushes it off to the side. 20 seconds on the game clock, now there's 20 seconds on the game clock, 16 on the shot clock. We're gonna have Bill Evans come in here and give us his halftime speak, talk, what have you. In just a moment, 10 seconds on the clock. McDowell just taking it out here. 3, 2, 1, he gets it off, and it's no good. And looks like Emmanuel Little will take a quick shot for three, and it nearly goes.
Would have lost my mind if that went in.
So halftime, Windsor Express 43, London Lightning 37 here at the Budweiser Gardens. We are back, and it feels good. Bill, how are you doing?
Great, Marty. It's great to be back.
Bill Ovens back here with, I guess, what's cooking with Bill. I guess we really haven't come up with a permanent name for the segment.
It was going to be that guy, but then my name got out.
Right. Okay, let's talk about this half. Obviously, lots of changes for both teams this offseason, as there is with every team in the NBLC. Let's start with, what did you see with the London Lightning so far?
What I saw with the London Lightning is a change of team personality. They've gone from, I'm hoping they've gone from the revolving door roster to a solid roster. I like the new coach. I like the new coach a lot. I think he's more of a coach rather than a general. I was down behind the bench in the first quarter, and when a player came off the floor last year, he would look like a whip puppy and go to the end of the bench and not say anything to anybody. And this time the coach stops him, he talks to him, you see nodding heads, then they sit, have their drink, they go back out, and they play a little bit different. Yeah. And I hate to say it, this really hurts me, and anybody that knows me listens to the broadcast. Maurice Bolden is playing great. I can't believe it. Like, the whole preseason, my son, Craig, all the guys I sit with, it's why does Bolden think that London needs a 7-foot point guard who can't dribble?
Yeah.
But tonight, he went back to the baseline. He got a hoop with about 4 minutes to go along the baseline, drew a foul. He got a lucky basket down near the end, or about halfway through the second quarter, when he was just down low. He got Bennett, and then his defense, he got Bennett to travel, and he's getting rebounds.
Yeah.
I used to dread Bolden going on the floor. Not so much now. He's showing something this year.
Absolutely, and the Windsor Express, matching up with London, being more physical than we've seen them before.
They're more physical than before. I took one look at Thomas when I walked in the building. I said, what's he got a jersey number on for? Anything that big should have a license plate. Bog wants to win big. And then I was down watching in the first quarter. The first series, he ran up the floor. The second series, he ran up the floor. The third series, he stood on the foul line and cheered as hard as he could for the other 4 guys going up the floor.
Well, you've got guys like Chris Commons returning.
Oh.
Huge guys, and literally and figuratively as well.
Exactly. That's Windsor is going to have to change. They've lost their backcourt, and I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get into anything Chris was getting into earlier, but it's almost like the teams have reversed. Last year, London was a big front court and some guys in the backcourt, and this year Windsor is a big front court and some unknowns in the backcourt.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about Duncan and Bonneau, right? they're missing for the Windsor Express. We've had lots of guys have come in and played guard so far for the Windsor Express. Any guy that maybe like you thought was decent, or you got Tony Bennett coming in.
Tony Bennett can do the job for
Yeah.
them. He can do the job for them. They have to accept the fact that Bonneau is gone, and Bennett, the other guy's gone, and they've changed their team. They're bigger up front. They're playing a lot more down on the baseline. They're still getting their three-point shots because it's a three-point league, and everybody can shoot, otherwise you don't get to play. But a lot more stuff down in the paint, a lot more stuff along the baseline. Last year, London was weak in the corners defensively. If you could get them messed up defensively, get them out of sync, the far corner was always open. And London's done a better job this year. I haven't seen any baskets from the deep corner.
Absolutely. Refs. You're always critical about refs.
This year, well, we looked at it, and it was we were within a minute of London not getting a foul in the first quarter. Yeah. When does that ever happen? I think the refs are letting them play. I think that they called Loisel for that moving pick. I was glad to see that. I think if they start calling Thomas when he pushes back through people, the refs are getting better. They got 3 of their best refs here tonight, though. Truth be told, there are 3 of the better refs.
Let's talk about these 3 refs. I mean, are they local guys? Sort of. We don't hear a whole lot about those guys.
I don't know them personally. I talk to them underneath the thing sometimes, and the bald-headed guy, he's got a really good eye. I don't know their names.
Yeah.
The tall white guy with the fuzzy hair, he likes calling moving picks. I was sitting courtside in Windsor last year at a game with my son and a couple of other guys, and 33, I think it's Collins. No, he's 24. Anyway, 33 for Windsor was throwing moving pick after moving pick after moving pick. So I explained to my son, when the referee was standing right beside us, what a moving pick was. And then the next time down the floor, he called the moving pick, ran by, looked at me on the sideline, and said, "Are you happy now?" So yes, I am happy. I'm happy with the referees. If the referees are going to call games like this, let them play. Yeah, there's going to be contact, just as long as there's not an advantage game.
Absolutely, and we've got Chris, obviously, color commentary, to go down and get some stats. Right out of the bat, Quinnell Brown leads all scorers with 15 points. Marvin Phillips has 11 points so far. Taking lots of shots from beyond the arc. You know what? It happens. It happens with him.
At the beginning of the game, 5 air balls and a turnover. I was keeping track. But that's nerves.
Yeah.
I was, as long as they both kept missing, nobody was falling behind.
Yeah.
I really like the London game. They may have to. I don't want them to get bigger inside. I want them to stay fast. I think at the end of the day, Windsor can get as big and as rough and tough in the paint as they want, but you can't defend speed.
No.
And speed will carry the day. Mississauga's gone for all speed. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Brampton looks like.
Absolutely.
Anthony Bowden at the point.
Yeah, I guess we were just talking about this during the broadcast. There's just so many moves.
So many changes.
So Anthony Bowden
was statistics from last year.
Yeah.
Which is another way of saying, damn, I didn't want to take it. Oh, good, I don't have to.
but again, that would be D'Anthony Bowden now with Brampton. Yeah. So I mean, after coming in a coaching role with London, now going on to Brampton, and talk a little bit about that team. You said they're going for a little bit more speed. Or?
I think Bowden is going to give them the wily veteran backcourt guy that London has in the front court with Mims. Yeah. And I think that's going to really help out their team. I think they've got one of the best coaches in the league. He rarely gets out coached. He's always got the guys on the floor he wants on the floor against the guys he wants on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be great, Brampton and London. It's going to be awesome. I think this is going to be good too. I don't see Windsor being able to keep up this kind of physicality for 40 games. That's going to be tough on their players. I was talking to Zane Johnson on the preseason, and I was talking about at the end of last year when Garrett Williamson just seemed to be dead. And he said he was. He couldn't lift his arms at the end of the year. He was just too tired. He was just worn out.
And a lot of people talk about, they only play for 4 months. It's like, well, even though with the reduced schedule this year, you've still got 36 games in a span of 4 months.
And with the effort they expend on playing this game, the older you get, the longer it takes to recover.
Yeah.
I used to play 36 holes of golf a day. Now I play 18. I gotta have a nap.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
But on a different level, it's the same concept. These guys need time to recover, and but they've got a bench this year, and they've got a coach that's going to use the bench this year, I believe. And so we're going to go 9, 10 deep, easy in a game. And I see this coach looking at the floor and seeing what the other team is doing and deciding who his best matchups are and not who his favorite players are.
Absolutely. Rebounds pretty even through that first half. That would be 34 for the London Lightning and 36 for Windsor. Obviously,
I think London got a few rebounds near the end there. Windsor seemed to be carrying a nail in the first quarter on the boards.
Absolutely.
It felt like that. Anyway.
Yeah. Maurice Bolden has a total of 8 so far. And Marvin Phillips has a total of 7. So he's only 3 rebounds away from a double-double already. Exactly. And yeah, I mean, Marvin Phillips, doesn't feel like we need to. We need to talk about him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes the difference for the London Lightning every time. I mean, just his energy level. It just seems like he sort of brings something that London Lightning, frankly, have never had.
Exactly. He's the one guy who can play any style.
Yeah.
If he needs to play outside, he can play outside. If he needs to play inside, he can play inside. I was talking to him down at the concession stand, and for a guy that big, he's got a smaller waist than me. He might. I bet you he hasn't. I bet you there's guys on the team with a bigger waist than him.
Yeah.
He's ripped.
He is.
I talked to Elvin at the inter-squad game. Him too. I think he lost 20 pounds in the offseason.
Wow.
These guys are coming back. They're coming back to be fast, and they're coming back to be fit and last the season.
Yeah.
Big Thomas for Windsor.
Yep.
After 3 trips down the floor. You were up here, you couldn't see it. I was down right close to the foul line. There was sweat coming off of him like he'd been in a sauna bath for a half an hour. I mean, man, oh man. But no, great year. The teams are going to be fast.
Awesome.
I think every team is going to be fast. I think that we're in for a great year. I'm really looking forward to this.
Really quickly, before we let you go, Tim Ellis.
I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him. I was really hoping he could come back as like an assistant coach. Talking to him at the team ending thing, gee, what a good basketball mind that guy had. A gentle soul, a really nice guy. If we could get Tim Ellis and run him through a photocopier, give me 4 of them, and I'll never lose.
All right,
anyway, we got to get back to Chris.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you again. Thank you very much as we are back here just moments from the second half. Marty Thompson and now Chris Croucher back with you here. Windsor Express have a 43-37 lead so far in this game, and we were just talking about it with Bill there, Chris. But rebounds pretty similar, 37-34. The Express have the lead there. Marvin Phillips and Maurice Bolden, 7 and 8 rebounds respectively. They're really doing well on the boards. If there's any other stats that stick out to you, Chris, by all means.
Well, Marvin Phillips' 11 points have been huge for that team. They haven't exactly been getting the offense going, but then again, neither have the Express. Other than Quinnell Brown's 15, we're not looking at a lot of scoring. The next best would be DeAndre Thomas with 6, but he's already gotten 2 fouls, and so has Loiselle with 3. So we're looking at maybe a little bit of big man trouble coming up, where they might be getting some foul issues going on.
Obviously, Kevin LaSalle in the mix there, got a couple of fouls near the end, rolling pick foul in there as well. Brampton A's trailing 40-53 to the Mississauga Power there. Just a minute left in the first half. They started a little bit later than we did. And the St. John Millrats have a win, 125-97.
And there we have it, the first win of the NBL season. The Millrats have a very exciting team coming up this year. It'll be interesting to see how they compete, especially with some of their additions in Akil Carr, along with guys who are already there, like Anthony Anderson was the league MVP last year, and you put a McDonald's All-American beside him.
Yeah, exactly, and able to retain those stars is certainly good. And we talked a little bit at halftime, Chris, about Garrett Williamson, and Bill recounted a story that was that St. John's had told him about, Garrett Williamson just being dead at the end of the year last year. He had such an incredible start, and the numbers he put at the start of the season carried him over to average with 20 points a game.
Well, he was the leading scorer for the Lightning in 21 of their 40 games. And almost all of those came in the first half, and I don't blame him for being exhausted. He really carried the weight for that team. He was their alpha dog for most of the year, including that start where he was just dynamite. And of course, very deservedly won NBL Canadian Player of the Year. His loss is huge for the Lightning in the fact that they don't necessarily have a guy who can step in right away to be their scoring leader. That was the thing with Williamson, is whenever they need points, whenever there's a guy they count on to get baskets, they went to Williamson. Now, who do you go to? It looks like Marvin Phillips initially. He does have 11 of their points already.
Yeah.
But big men traditionally aren't the highest scoring players on their teams. The only time I can think of is Antonio Ballard out with the Island Storm last year. But even then, he had a very, very solid supporting cast. And this year, he's gone for the Island Storm. They decided to load up on guards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't often see big men playing that lead role, but they might have to in London with Marvin Phillips.
3 more minutes left to talk about this game and to talk about this upcoming season. Switching to this game, Clinton Springer-Williams yet to come into this game, Enrico De Loretto yet to come in, Kurt Alexander, I believe. Those are just some of the guards that we're looking at that have yet to make an appearance. We've already talked about Enrico De Loretto and the Canadian talent, but who do you expect to really come in here and make a difference, or if there is any other player on the bench that London could look to?
Well, all 3 of their bench players are capable of playing. We saw De Loretto and Springer-Williams get a bunch of minutes in the preseason. They're all capable players. They're just not necessarily in that rotation yet. It might just be because of the matchup with the sort of larger lineup that the Windsor Express have. We've seen more of their big guys. The only real pure guard we've seen coming into this game is with Al Stewart coming off the bench. Most of these guys have been their bigs, and they've been going taller with this Windsor also having a big man lineup.
Absolutely. Just 2 minutes left to go here until we get back underway. SportsLive24.net brings you the London Lightning and the Windsor Express here at Budweiser Gardens. And the score is 43-37. Again, the Windsor Express with a big lead, and the London Lightning looking to maybe transition out of this and try to really hit the ground running. And what we've seen from the Windsor Express is a very, very physical game. They've got some big guys, and we're seeing, players like DeAndre Thomas and Kevin LaSalle getting stuck in like they always do. And this game is absolutely no expectation to that. And 43-37, Windsor Express looking towards their next couple of games. They are playing at home against Brampton next Saturday, and then home to the Island Storm on Thursday, and then they go out towards Mississauga on the Saturday after that. Meanwhile, looking towards the London Lightning rest of the schedule, they head out and actually go play head out to Peel Region and take on Brampton, I believe, next Saturday. Again, Brampton should be an interesting team, another team we haven't talked about in terms of transactions. They've got D'Anthony Bowden on their team.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pickup, especially for Lightning fans, pardon me. D'Anthony Bowden was an assistant GM for the team last year. He's come out of retirement, at least tried out for the Brampton A's. We'll have to see if he made it. I don't think that final roster's been announced yet. Not
yet, and even the Windsor Express final roster will be announced on Wednesday. So we are just about ready to go here. 43-37, the Windsor Express have a lead. Slender, but it is a lead. But can you ever, I'm just gonna pick your brain here for a bit, Chris. Can you remember a time when the halftime score for a London Lightning game had a 37 in it?
It's been a very, very long time. Again, for both teams, they usually put up a lot of points. I can only say expect them to put up a lot of points, but that's what I would have said at the start of the game too.
Only, not even on pace for, not even on pace for 70 points at this point. It's interesting.
Some iffy shooting numbers too. We've got 2 for 10 shooting from Chris Commons. Marvin Phillips, he has those 11 points, but that's on 4 of 13 shooting. And then we're looking at 1 for 7 from Elvin Mims.
We are underway here at Budweiser Gardens. Marvin Phillips takes it up And it is finished by Emmanuel Little.
Emmanuel Little having himself a pretty good game here. He's just been solid. That'll make 9 points for Little.
43-39, the Windsor Express have the ball, they have the lead. Commons. Takes it out now. Got Buckley with it. And he's trying to work around Johnson, and this is a tough shot for DeAndre Thomas. There's a foul on the floor.
Gotta wonder why Buckley passed up that shot. He had Zane Johnson in the air. Go and get the foul shots.
11:20 left in this third quarter of play. Brown into Commons. And out to Gary Gibson. Brown, distance 3, no good. And Mims off to McDowell and London to start the play. Johnson works around. Cuts to Phillips. Look at this battle. Fade from Phillips, no good.
Surprised Phillips tried to back down Thomas. He's a quicker guy. I think that's going to be I thought that might be a travel on Little, but it looks like it's a foul.
10 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. McDowell on the inbound here for the London Lightning. Tosses it to Phillips. Johnson finds it for Phillips. Now to Mims. Takes it up for 2. It's no good.
Another rough shot for Alvin Mims. Surprised Zane Johnson isn't taking advantage of the size difference he has over Dominique Buckley. We're talking about a guy who's 6'6", taking on a player who looks like he's about 6'2".
McDowell. Up to Phillips. Oh, he loses the ball, and DeAndre Thomas gets beaten a foot race by Stephen McDowell, but it will be Windsor ball.
It's not exactly a rare occasion when Stephen McDowell beats DeAndre Thomas in a foot race. Gotta love the hustle by McDowell, but he didn't really have a good shot at keeping that ball in.
Gibson with the ball. Takes it down low and finished by Cornell Brown.
Cornell Brown, he might be primed for a huge year here. He has basically beaten the offense for Windsor tonight.
Johnson. From Little now to Marvin Phillips. And that is going to be a foul.
Not 100% sure why. It looked like Thomas held his hand up there. I didn't see contact.
You know, you see that DeAndre Thomas, Marvin Phillips battle. It really seems like Marvin Phillips is trying to rely on his speed. Anything just to try to get around him.
Well, it's probably smart to rely on his speed up against Thomas. Thomas is doing all he can to defend. Phillips has backed him down a couple times, which is an odd choice. But by now, Thomas should be expecting that sort of step-back jumper from Phillips.
And Marvin Phillips cuts down the deficit now to 5 points. The Express have a 45-40 lead. 9:39 left to go in the third. Now down to 4 points. So Maurice Bolden comes in place for Marvin Phillips. Gibson up against Stephen McDowell. She's into Buckley now. Back to Gibson. 8 seconds on the shot clock. DeAndre Thomas up against Marvin Phillips, and it will not go. Block.
Tough matchup for Mims, getting back down by DeAndre Thomas. Bullied on his way to the basket, but able to disturb Thomas enough that Thomas wasn't able to take a good shot.
9 minutes, 16 seconds left in the third. Chris Commons take 2 shots from the line. Quincy Acoli prepared to come on for the Lightning. (45-41). It's no good. Unbelievable. Commons goes 0 for 2. Gibson. Slips by Zane Johnson. Get out for Buckley now. 5 seconds of the shot clock. Thomas battles through Bolden, and it's if it's not a height mismatch, it's certainly a weight mismatch in terms of DeAndre Thomas versus Mo Bolden. Just under 9 minutes left now as Quincy Coley comes in and replaces Alvin Mims. DeAndre Thomas at the line. Interesting not to see Ryan Anderson yet, and we know that this Windsor Express lineup hasn't necessarily been finalized, but you talk about how he performed last season, and even to that buzzer beater shot against Mississauga in that one-off playoff game. I mean, he was there right to the very end and one of the better players for Ottawa.
Well, part of it might be it is the start of the year. We don't know if there was an injury in camp or something. I certainly think he will be playing a big role at some point on the team. We just haven't seen him tonight.
Al Stewart. He's up against Garrett Gibson. And McDowell now.
This is a rough matchup for Buckley. McDowell's way quicker.
And he uses his speed to get the shot off. Doesn't go. So now Gibson works his way around. He's being matched by Al Stewart here. Commons. Keeps bouncing off at Coley, and looks like there's a call on the floor.
I believe they're going to give the foul on Coley here. He was playing some tough defense. That's a foul you're okay with. Commons, probably not familiar with O'Coley, had a very tough matchup.
Express with it, Buckley. Spins, fires, good.
Now you can see down low in the post why they have a guy like Coley on the floor. For when Phillips is out of the game, oh, big swat.
And the
for
refs.
when you've got a Phillips guy out of the game though, when Phillips he's a bigger guy, Mims necessarily can't handle the size of Thomas, so that's why they brought Coley in, because now they have an extra big who can handle Thomas down low.
Al Stewart on the inbound now. Coley to McDowell. And they're going to say, looks like it was a foul, and that one's going to go against Chris Commons. Al Stewart on the inbound, 48-41, 8 minutes left. The Express have the lead. They're in black, the London Lightning are in white. They have the ball. McDowell takes it, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bounces off, and that's going to go against Buckley by the looks of it. And the fouls being racked up now, 4 fouls each. Here is 4 minutes into this half.
Consider we only saw 5 from each team in the first half. That's a pretty quick way for this game to get a little more physical.
Stewart on the inbound, back to Bolden. Now down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Coley. Can't find Stewart, but he is battling for that. 31 years old, but you'd think he's 16 out there running around trying to grab the ball.
Still got a lot of fight in him there.
DeAndre Thomas backing against Coley, spins, fires, no good.
Thomas just not getting things to go his way. London has done a great job of stopping Thomas from getting to the areas he likes to be in.
And that is going to be another foul for the Windsor Express. That one is going to go against Brown by the looks of it. So now the London Lightning get to take advantage of 5 fouls for the Windsor Express.
Again, we're only 7 minutes left in the third. We've already got Little going to the line. 5 team fouls for the Express.
And again, just to recap anyone that is late tuning in, the St. John Millrats beat the Miracles out east 125-97. It's the first official result of the 2014-15 NBLC season. Other game going on right now is Mississauga versus Brampton, and the Power have a big 60-43 lead. That's just coming out of halftime. And then you can always check in with that team. It's also being streamed online.
Travis Relaford leading the way for the Mississauga Power right now. He actually played with Andrew Wiggins at Kansas last year.
Long shot from Buckley is no good. Bolden collects. 7 minutes left. This is Emmanuel Little cutting around, tossing it up. It's good.
I don't like that shot by Little, but great job by Stewart getting in position, getting the rebound as a little guy there.
Gibson up against Stewart now. 4-point deficit for the London Lightning, and they are defending now. Oh, finds lots of space, and it's good. And a foul for Quinnell Brown. No basket.
They're calling a charge there.
Oof. So there you go, London Lightning. They didn't get through the charge.
I believe that was Hart who got in the way there and kept his feet. Because the thing is, the difference between a block and a charge, you have to make sure that defender has their feet planted, and it has to be outside that little arch there that you see in the key. So good job by, again, I believe it was Hart getting in the way of that basket.
Little to Bolden. The ball takes it back. 6:20 on the clock, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Hart takes it up and nearly scored. To talk about him scoring from anywhere at any time, that was a great example.
He'll take any shot. He's not afraid of shooting the ball at all. He's done a great job here tonight, although that one may be a little more ill-advised.
He's matching up with Gibson here. DeAndre Thomas cuts his way through, and there is a foul on the floor. Let's see what the refs give. And it looks like that's going to go against London by the looks of it. So DeAndre Thomas will take the shot.
You can even hear the crowd right now chanting Thomas. You got no love lost between these two teams.
Phillips and Mims come into the game. Little and Nicoli coming out. Again, 50-44, halfway through this third quarter. DeAndre looking to add to Windsor's lead. Kevin Lazelle comes in, replaces DeAndre Thomas. Bolden up against Quinnell Brown, cuts his way around here and takes it up. It's no good. Continues to bounce, and we're seeing it.
Does someone want the ball?
Stewart pushes it out wide. He gets it back, pushes through. Commons, it's no good. It's mayhem here. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bolden to Mims. Spins, fades, good.
Wow, what a very messy possession for the Lightning, but again, Alvin Mims, we've seen in the past, bails out his team by making sure he gets that bucket.
5.5 left in the third. Gibson. Bounces it through, and that's going to be a foul against Maurice Bolden by the looks of it. And we're going to get an immediate timeout, and the Express still have a 5-point lead, 51-46. Well, the scoring sort of picked up. It's still been a pretty low-scoring game by both these club standards in terms of what they brought to the table years before.
The basketball being very slippery tonight. We've seen the teams having troubles to hold on to the ball. Some of the passing out there, not exactly the prettiest. But you know what? Both teams have great pedigree. They've got a great history of battling against each other. We haven't seen as much of the rough stuff as we have. It's starting to pick up a bit here as each team has 6 fouls, which is more than both teams had in the entire first half. Some guys to look for going on. I've been really impressed by Quinnell Brown. He's looked excellent tonight. And they must have known what they had in Quinnell Brown too, as he's been the main option for them as a scorer.
I was sitting in double-digit points there, and taking lots of good shots. 15 points coming out of half. So The Windsor Express, coached by Bill Jones. Again, in case you missed it, they won the championship last year. I mean, that's sort of important. But you know, you talk about Duncan and Bonneau and how they could just take over games, whether they were together or apart, or you know, when they played the London Lightning, it was almost unfair. They were quick and they could shoot and they had pretty much everything. And it sucks they lost them, but clearly, you know, they've made do. And you know, we talk about, you know, Bill Jones obviously getting Coach of the Year, but adapting to a new play style.
Well, one of the things with Bill Jones being Coach of the Year, he's going to have to earn it with this roster, because he's going to very much have to change his game plan from a small ball attack with Duncan and Bonneau to having to go with bigger guys. Like you talk about Quinnell Brown, he's more of a small forward. You talk about Thomas, that's a center. He's going to have to go more towards his veteran big men as opposed to the explosive guard play of a Bonneau and a Duncan.
51-46, that was a shot clock violation there. So 51-46, Stewart takes it to the house.
And again, Stewart, just Mr. Reliable. Nothing too crazy, he's just able to make a solid play.
Here's Tony Stewart with it now. Off to Chris Commons. He's up against Elvin Mims. Takes a shot. It's good.
Tough shot by Commons trying to get that over Mims, but Commons a great three-point shooter historically in the NBL.
Bolden. And off to Mims here. Just over 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Bolden on the fade. It is good.
Nice shot by Bolden. Again, he's got those small forward skills to go along with his 6'11" frame. Takes advantage of it there.
Commons. And that is going to be a call against Elvin Mims by the looks of it.
On defense is where Bolden could have his biggest impact in the game. If he can give Quinnell Brown some fits with his length on the floor, that's exactly what the Lightning need to get back. And we see Bolden come in, and that score sort of start to close the gap a bit. London now only down by 3 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Of course. Commons. Of course, he missed both shots, you know, just moments before this one, but here we are. He's 0 for 1 from the line right now. Gets one out of the two. Right now, Emmanuel Little comes back in. Taken off by Elvin Mims.
We can see again Little already early in this season getting a lot of minutes. Coach Knox clearly trusting in Little.
Here he is right now. Bolden takes the pass off of Little. He's up against Chris Commons. Bolden on the fade, it's good.
Great shot by Bolden. No idea how he got that over the outstretched arm of Commons. Again, with that small forward skill set of Bolden, so you look at what he has to do on offense, they have to put a big man now to cover London's small forward. As we see another great shot by Quinnell Brown.
56-52. Things are speeding up a bit as we see Phillips straining too.
The vision on Stewart to make that pass though at full speed to Phillips. Doesn't get much easier for Marvin than that.
Commons. Big interception as Little takes it off and gives it to Stewart. Foul against Tony Bennett.
Great play by Manuel Little. Great jump on that ball. Able to tip it forward to Stewart.
And so that's Tony Bennett's first foul. And speaking about fouls, here comes DeAndre Thomas. He comes back into this game. Same goes for Finley. Three minutes left. Al Stewart at the line. And he's got his 2 shots coming up. One of the
tough miss.
Yeah, one of the veterans of this league, though, you know, he's in terms of just a name recognition, you know, he's probably been one of the better players in the entire league's history, as we see DeAndre Thomas slamming down Emmanuel Little, and that's it.
DeAndre Thomas always seems to find himself in trouble when he comes to the Bud Gardens. Gets himself the unsporting foul. A rough play by Thomas. He should know better. And that's one of the things you can do if you're the London Lightning. You know you can bait him into taking fouls like that.
And this crowd always tends to get behind him too. We've heard stories of people, you know, at the sideline and hearing people jeer him in the specific things they say. Maybe can't say it on camera, maybe.
Definitely not going to repeat them.
No,
but you can imagine what they might be saying if we can't repeat them.
Absolutely, that's pretty much it.
And you see the way London, even though Thomas is a bigger guy and they're probably going to lose the matchup when they try and get physical on offense, they know that they can bait Thomas into this and they can get him out of the game. One of the things he did at the end of last year that made him more successful and great for Windsor, as you see Thomas still complaining about it, is that he kept it under control and he didn't take those silly fouls. But it's a new season. Thomas will have to keep his head on straight if he wants to stay in this game.
Phillips in tight, and there's another foul for DeAndre Thomas.
Now they already have, I believe, that is Petaway coming in now to replace Thomas, as he's going to find the pine with his 5th foul already, and we still have a whole other quarter to play.
Listen to this crowd right now. They are happy. They are thrilled. Wow, and there he is. DeAndre Thomas back. Under 3 minutes to play. He's the kind of guy you want on the court. And unfortunately for Windsor, you know, he's in this position a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely foul trouble waiting to happen. He was better last year, but we're seeing the old Thomas here tonight.
London Lightning now have a 57-56 lead here with about 2.5 left in the third quarter. Long shot from Petaway is no good. It's taken here by LaSalle. We'll spin around with a fresh shot clock. Takes a shot and it's good.
Nice shot by LaSalle. He was up against 6'11" Bolden there and able to get the shot up and over Bolden, using some quickness too.
Stewart. Now to Phillips. Backs it through Petaway. And looks like that call is going to go against Phillips. So, unbelievably, Marvin Phillips only on his first foul. Well, 7 fouls apiece so far this quarter.
Surprising considering the matchup of Phillips and Thomas has been very physical.
Bolden off to Emmanuel Little. He sprints down. Gives it off to Phillips. Can't be finished by Mo. And we see it come all the way back now. Windsor. Tony Bennett can't do it. LaSalle's got a chance. Fouled.
Good job on the defensive end by Petaway to be physical and to make sure Phillips did not get an easy shot at that basket while still not taking a foul, because wow, can they not afford to have a big man take a foul. Another great play on the other end to get the bucket.
Absolutely, 1:47 left in this quarter. So that's a foul against John Hart, and now Kevin LaSalle comes up. Standing 6 feet and 6 inches tall. Kevin LaSalle has been around the league quite a bit as well. Another veteran that Windsor were able to keep. And Stephen McDowell comes back in to replace John Hart. Impressed with John Hart's performance so far? I would assume so. I mean, he's
had
well.
a solid game. He's been getting some rebounds. He made some difficult shots earlier in the game. And it looks like he's going to be a key player off the bench for the Lightning. And his ability to sort of distribute a bit as a point guard too while playing the shooting guard position just adds more value to him.
Phillips, quick shot, good.
Nice shot by Phillips. He's been great. He's stayed down low in the post, which is where they need him to be against this big Windsor team.
59 all. This is Finley, he spins, and it's no good. And now Stewart breaks out.
Sturdivant there, very quick on his feet, just shook Bolden. Good recovery by Bolden.
Oh, Bolden can't finish, and there is a foul.
Definitely a foul on Sturdivant. He can lift his hands all he wanted, but he just straight up pushed Bolden as Bolden was shooting.
There you go. So Bolden now taking a trip to the line. 59 all, a minute left now in the third quarter. It's going to come down to the wire here, folks. You're watching Sportsline24.net's coverage of the National Basketball League of Canada and the London Lightning here at Budweiser Gardens here tonight. Bolden misses the first one.
Gotta make your free throws, especially at a time where London could have taken the lead with that one.
Second shot is good. 60-59, London have the lead again. Bennett starts it off for the Windsor Express. Shifted across, quick shot is no good. Finished by Sturdivant.
Nice job by Sturdivant to get ready and open for that shot.
Bolden. Up against Sturdivant, spins, and he will get it.
Bolden again looking to step up this year. Boy, has he had himself a great second half so far. Able to make that shot, very, very contested. It gets to the line too. And Sturdivant getting the foul. Again, the big men on Windsor running into some foul trouble. Sturdivant's fine right now with 2, but we still have an entire quarter to play.
Bolden going back to the line here. You know, looking towards the bench now. Windsor's going to have to do that now. You know, London might have to look into it, and you know, what we've seen from the preseason that the London Lightning seem to have a deep team this year. You know, you look at De Loretto, he seemed to be, you know, frankly, one of the better players in preseason through that black and yellow game. But just from what the coaches were saying, and you know, he hasn't even seen, you know, he hasn't even seen a minute yet. So,
well, they haven't exactly needed him right now. Lightning have a very, very tight core rotation of 9 guys right now, and it's working for them. So why change it?
Little cuts through and fires it off to Phillips. And one.
Great play by Little. Looked like he was going to be out of bounds. Instead, he makes a beautiful pass to Phillips, and Phillips knows what to do with a basketball.
Marvin Phillips goes to the line. 4-point lead for the Lightning. They have stormed back in this third quarter and set themselves up for a decent run going into the fourth. Tony Bennett up against Stewart here. 15 seconds on the game clock. Just a second shy on the shot clock. Got 7 seconds now. Intercepted by McDowell. They've got to be quick. 4 seconds on it. Off towards Little. Fouled.
And you see the fast pace of this team. They wanted to get points in transition. You can see it there with McDowell making a beautiful, almost full court pass to Stewart.
With 1.7 on the clock, London go to the line again. And how crucial has this been in this third quarter? London getting a ton of points at the line so far.
Well, they haven't been making them as well as they should be. Get another chance here.
And he missed it again. So, no, you're 100% right. I mean, you had Maurice Bolden going up there and missing, and you know, everyone seems to be missing from the line so far.
Just about any person around basketball will tell you if you want to win, you got to make your free throws.
Long shot is
almost.
No good. Yeah, almost good.
Almost good by Tony Bennett.
Very close for Tony Bennett, but the London Lightning have a 67-61 lead. Bill Jones talking to Mr. Tony Bennett, trying to get his team started up here. Looks at the clock, and that's not what he saw coming into halftime. Obviously, they had a pretty sizable lead. What was that, sitting at about 43-37? And it's gone, 67-61.
Well, we've seen that 6-point advantage. Pardon me. We've seen that 6-point advantage completely flip around the other way for the Express. Now they're behind the 8 ball here. With the way London can score and the way that they generate momentum, you have to worry about whether or not London is gonna just keep going. They're the type of team, once they start scoring, they don't stop. So now that they've started finding their scoring, Windsor not as much. Windsor has to really be worried heading into the fourth.
Well, here we go, the London Lightning having the lead here, 67-61. What can they do with it? Take another quick look. Haven't heard any updates out of the Mississauga-Brampton game. We'll be sure to update you there again. But again, St. John Millrats beat Moncton earlier this evening to take the first win of this NBLC season. And while we've got some time, Chris, I think it makes sense for us to talk about a new initiative that us as two broadcasters in the league have sort of started in the NBLC Net blog. I hate to self-promote, but we've got a couple writers across a couple different centers, and we put together a really good blog if you want to just keep up with the league. We have a Twitter, we have Facebook, Chris. Yeah.
It's really hard at times with this league to find information, so what we try to do is provide a comprehensive source.
Absolutely, so you can get us on Twitter at NBLCnet, that is NBLC, and then net, E-N-E-T, rather. And then you can also find us on Facebook as well, NBLCnet, all one word. And you know what, everyone involved in this league wants to see it grow.
Definitely, especially with the way basketball's grown in Canada. The whole We the North thing is going to definitely take off. I can sort of see in the 8 years since Vince Carter left Toronto, you saw a huge growth come from Toronto basketball and come from Canadian basketball. And with the way the Raptors are playing now, you can see that growth just continuing. And with a league like this, there's great opportunity to see it grow into something big.
Bolden up against Commons here. We start the fourth quarter with a huge J.
Bolden's got the hot hand, and this is the difference between Knox and Richardson. Bolden wouldn't be seeing these kind of minutes. As a younger guy, Richardson would have swapped him out for a veteran. Knox letting Bolden keep the hot hand go.
Shifted around here and tipped up. Looks like that's Brown down there. He'll shift it out. Chris Commons for three, misses it. Huge rebound by Emmanuel Little.
Rare miss from Commons too. Usually he's a great three-point shooter. Having a rougher night tonight though.
Phillips takes a look at DeAndre Thomas. He's back in this game and a lot to handle. No foul there.
Maybe the refs didn't want to see Thomas go.
I mean, Thomas is fun, but there is a line. I mean, he did put his hand in Marvin Phillips' face.
It did look like he got mostly ball there.
True. Commons spins, passes it off. Big 3 points here. It's good.
They needed something to get going. It looked like the offense started growing stale for Windsor. Gibson doing a great job. So to get things going, and now they're still only down by 6.
McDowell in the playmaker role, gives it off to Bolden at the top. Has to muscle his way past Commons. Now back to McDowell. 3 seconds on the shot clock. He powers through. There's no call. Thomas, quick shot, and oh, it falls through. Who's got it? It looks like it'll be Bolden. No. It's still on the loose there, and
I think it's Windsor.
It'll be another jump ball. Wait for the dust to fly there. Lots of moving limbs, that's for sure.
It's going to be lightning ball, actually. The arrow is in the London direction.
69-64 here. Another immediate timeout here. London surging. And, you know, we haven't really seen them rely a whole lot on shots from beyond the arc, but obviously Windsor looking towards that now. You know, just trying to get those points, trying to cut back the deficit before they go ahead.
One of the things that stood out to me is the play of Gary Gibson for Windsor. They need a point guard to take over that role from Duncan. While Gibson has been making baskets, he hasn't been lighting it up. But where he really has impressed me is the way he's shut down McDowell. This is a guy who we know can explode for 20 points at any given moment. McDowell right now only sitting at, I believe, 8 points, 8 points.
Yeah.
And he hasn't added any this second half. So you gotta love that game from Gibson when we talk about this being a guard-heavy league and the way the Lightning stocked up at guard. If you have a guy who can consistently defend the guard position, that's a huge benefit. And same goes for Buckley. Buckley in the past has proven he's excellent at guarding either the point guard or even tonight against the 6'6" Zane Johnson, the shooting guard position. So maybe that's the change we're looking at for Windsor, is they're focusing more on defending other teams' guards, whereas before it used to be you had to answer to Bonneau.
Yeah. Interesting quote out of an article by Jim Parker in the Windsor Star, talking to Jones, head coach of the Express. You know, he said that Bonneau was the best point guard in this league, and he said that Bennett was the second best.
Personally, I love Tony Bennett's game. I think he's a great mix of scoring and distributing and provides solid defense. But if we're saying Bonneau is number 1, Bennett's number 2, we're jumping from 14 points a game to 22 points a game. We're talking only 3 guys in the NBL last year averaged over 20 points per game. That's quite the jump.
It is.
So while Bennett is a great player to have, he's not Bonneau.
No. Of course, in case you missed it, Bonneau has been drafted to the NBA D-League, so we wish him the best in that. Fort Wayne picked him up there in the draft today.
That's 6 fouls there on Thomas. That's going to be game for him.
And there he goes. DeAndre Thomas is out of the game.
Considering the way things were escalating with Thomas, it's quite the quiet exit.
It's true, he sort of just like slipped by without anyone noticing.
Just seemed okay with the foul. We usually see more arm raising.
Oh, taken by LaSalle. No, he mishandled it.
Took his eye off the ball, started thinking about the pass he was going to make before the ball was even in his hand.
Stewart. Phillips. Interesting to see Stewart back into this game and staying there, and that's Marvin Phillips. And back into the huddle with the Lightning here.
You see there, Phillips did a great job of adjusting. He saw, I believe it was Lozelle trying to draw a charge. He did a great job of adjusting his body so that he was more jumping beside Lozelle. So that way he ends up getting the blocking call on Lozelle and he gets to go to the line.
71-64, London really pulling ahead here in the first part of this fourth quarter. 9:23 on the clock, 2 fouls. The Express, 0 for the Lightning. This is Gary Gibson taking it up for the Express. Is it across? Into Chris Commons. He's up against Maurice Bolden. Lanky battle down low. And the ref makes the play call.
With a lot of whistling involved.
Whistling and hand motions and everything involved there.
Looked like Joey Crawford with that kind of animation there.
And the call is going to go against Maurice Bolden, his 4th foul. Now just over 9 minutes to play. Marvin Phillips comes out of the game. Looks like Alvin Mims comes back in. Back to Gary Gibson for 3, and he gets it.
Clutch shot by Gibson, who's showing he's got some range on that jumper. That's his second 3.
Bolden fades it, won't roll. You see Windsor on the breakout now. Bounce pass to LaSalle, he cuts across. And very, very weak from Kevin LaSalle.
Not sure I like the decision to cut across. I would have liked him to attack the basket. Now you see McDowell gets to come back down the floor, and that's what McDowell does for you. Huge 3-pointer. Now we're looking at a 75-67 game with the Lightning up with 8 minutes to go.
Gary Gibson now chips it in for Brown. Backs in, pushes, and it is good for Quinnell Brown. He'll go to the line with the and 1 in play. The Windsor Express not out of it just yet. 75-68, 8 minutes and 10 seconds sitting on the clock. DeAndre Thomas has his 6th foul. He's out. That's one thing. I mean, that's just one thing we're looking at right now. Lots of storylines in this game so far between these two big 401 rivals, and the London Lightning take the ball up, trying to keep this lead a hefty one, 75-70 as it stands. McDowell pushes it around, and it's going to be taken by Emmanuel Little. And that's going to be no basket there by the looks of it. It's a good idea for Mims, but again, 75-70 is how this stays for the time being. See Emmanuel Little there, number 23. One of the many newcomers of this team, Stephen McDowell, one of the returning players. So Emmanuel Little goes to the line here for 2 as Petaway comes in for Windsor. Emmanuel Little at the line. First one, no good.
The foul shot's killing the Lightning here. They need to be making these shots. They could be up by almost 10 by now if they were making their foul shots.
Second shot from Little misses. Now Gibson moves the ball out here for the Windsor Express. LaSalle fakes the shot from Bolden. He'll take it back. Oh, lost it. Keeps it going here. In the corner, 7.5 left now. Stewart off to McDowell. Slims through, and that is going to be a foul. Looks like it's still LaSalle. Yeah, it's still LaSalle right now.
It's assessed to Brown, actually.
I'm going to Brown.
I thought it was going to be a charge on McDowell. It looked like LaSalle was set, but instead, I guess Brown must have taken a hack or something along the way.
John Hart comes in and places Al Stewart. And a quick update from the Mississauga Power Camp. The Power have a 85-72 lead with just less than a second left until the fourth quarter, so just about the fourth quarter there.
Power having a rough season last year. This is a big turnaround for them. The A is a very good team.
I think the entire Central Division is going to be a tough one this year.
Yeah, it's hard to pick out who's going to be a winner, especially if Mississauga's playing like they are tonight.
Bill Jones ushers his team to score some points. Please, Gibson off to Quinnell Brown. It's short.
I think they might have wasted Quinnell Brown's hot hand. He was making every shot, and then they stopped going to him inexplicably.
Mims misses. Let's take it in here.
Great hustle by Little to get that ball. Unfortunate they don't get anything out of it.
In a tough spot, Bolden will block Parker. It's going to be traveling against Bolden.
Bolden again makes a great play on the defensive end, but he's prone to those lapses that travel very unnecessary. Tough break for the Lightning.
6:46 left now as Marvin Phillips comes into the game. Mims comes out. Seven-point lead for the Lightning. They are at the defensive side of the ball. Quick shot from the Windsor Express, and it is missed by Dominic Buckley.
The Express had everything going there, but they just seem to have lost their mojo a bit.
The Lightning get the ball back and in cruise control right now. If I'm not mistaken, the biggest lead we've had tonight is around 9 points. And London getting in and around there with 7. Bolden tips up here. Now this is Marvin Phillips, and he will be fouled.
Looks like he might have hurt himself a bit. Not sure how that happened. It looks like his hand by the way he's holding it. Oh, or maybe not.
It's, you can hear him screaming down here. Yeah, I don't know what he hurt.
The inner groin area looks a little tender.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah. 7-point lead. If Marvin's going to be all right, he can add to that lead. Yeah, yeah, that must have hurt. He still looks like he's in pain. 6:20 on the clock.
If the Lightning make this, they'll have the biggest lead of the game at 9 points.
There it is. Biggest lead coming at a crucial time. Brown up against Little. Quick shot here, makes sense from Garrett Gibson. He's been hitting them all night, not that one.
It seems like almost every hot hand on the Express has gone cold.
Oh, Hart!
Wow! What a shot by John Hart. I'm pretty sure he needs to take crazy shots. He's missed some simple ones, but the absolutely ridiculous is working for John Hart.
Unbelievable, and Windsor answer back. That's Dominic Buckley for 3.
Quick answer 3. Windsor needed that, or else the crowd would have still been talking about that John Hart shot.
McDowell off to Little. 5.5 left now. Bolden spins and fires, and it's no good.
I believe they're giving the foul to Phillips for pushing off when he was going after that rebound.
Foul charge for 45. Marvin Phillips, that's his second, and the team's third.
So horn blows, and it's like Knox wants to have a talk with the referee. Same goes for Bill Jones. So officially the third quarter has ended. Mississauga have a 87-72 lead in Brampton. I'll keep you updated until obviously we go off the air, but another game you can check out. Kevin LaSalle takes a charge through, and he is good. Duncan, my apologies, that is McDowell, moves it across.
Good matchup for Bolden. He's got the speed advantage.
That's going to be a foul.
Is that 6 on LaSalle?
We'll have to see. It's likely 6, so it's his 5th foul. Chris Commons will come in to replace LaSalle. Oh no, it looks like he'll replace Petaway by the looks.
Playing with fire, they already have Thomas out of the game. They're going to leave LaSalle in with 5.
London Lightning on the inbound. Mo Bolden takes it. 4:44 on the clock.
We're going to say that's out of bounds on Maurice Bolden. His heel just touching the line.
Now 4.5 left. So we see Gary Gibson coming across here. Pushes through, and a big block from Marvin Phillips into the third row.
We've seen a couple of blocks. There haven't been any small ones. Just about every block has gone flying across the court. And if you could keep the ball, a fan would get a souvenir there.
Gibson comes across. Now to Buckley. LaSalle, again on 5 fouls. He won't get the shot off in time as the shot clock expires. Ball gets tipped out as Stewart will take it back here. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 4 minutes left. McDowell on the run. Takes possession. Oh, LaSalle takes it off a sloppy pass from McDowell, and he'll go around McDowell. for an and one.
Great job by Loiselle. McDowell, if you're going to foul Loiselle, you got to be more physical. You got to stop him from making that basket, because McDowell very much committed to taking a foul. He just didn't do it hard enough.
That's his first.
Team's fourth foul. The Express have 6. London just have 4. In the cell. Crucial point coming up. It's good. You see Windsor applying the pressure, and it nearly works. Bolden's able to collect, finds McDowell here, and he'll get dispossessed. Not before there's a foul.
Some sloppy passing there. Quinnell Brown able to take advantage. And again, McDowell, if you're going to take the foul, you got to be able to stop him. Brown could have almost gotten a basket there had he just shot it.
81-78, team's 5th foul for the London Lightning now.
Big time push off by Buckley.
And now there's a big mismatch here. Common just pushing in on McDowell, and he'll take it out for 2.
Somehow Buckley didn't get called for that.
Stewart off to Bolden. It is a 1-point game.
Windsor playing a lot more press now than we'd seen earlier in the game.
Stewart. Bolden, and that is going to be a reach-in.
Silly foul by Commons.
Well, that is another foul for the Express. Team is already over the limit.
They're lucky that Sturdivant, Petaway, and Commons have been able to stay out of trouble.
Maurice Bolden to the line. And it's good. 82-80, London Lightning still ahead. You're watching SportsLive24.net's coverage of the National Basketball League of Canada. And it's good.
Those free throws crucial. We've got 3 minutes left, and is this ever a close one? 83-80 for London.
You see Maurice Bolden walking off, and great all-around performance from London to come back in this game. But we're seeing, Windsor trying to put in the full court press. They seem like they're a really athletic team this year. We heard a lot about, London being athletic last year, but it seems like, Windsor's rough and tumble and very athletic.
Well, they've got a lot of length on defense. That's the thing that's great about Windsor. You don't necessarily have to be the biggest, strongest team, although when you have Thomas in, you probably are. But they've got very long, lean, athletic defenders who've done a great job of blocking the Lightning from getting anywhere they want to go. 83-80 is a shockingly low point total for the way these two teams have played in the past.
Just a 3-point difference as we have Bill Jones in that corner trying to tell his Express men to push ahead and try to get it. As we see the man in the striped shirt there just in front, that's actually Ryan Anderson. He did not dress for tonight, so again, we don't know about the injury concerns that Windsor have, but certainly an interesting piece that we haven't even seen yet tonight and probably won't for a couple months yet.
Well, he has a history in this league. He averaged 18.2 a game. As a member of the now no longer Ottawa Skyhawks, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any run. I can't think of any reason other than injury why he would be on the bench.
(83-80). Windsor off the hop. 3-point lead. It's getting loud here at Budweiser Gardens. There's 3 minutes left. Gibson off to Brown. He'll find LaSalle, and it's now shifted all the way back to Buckley. Now back to LaSalle. 7 seconds with a shot clock for 2. It's no good. And Bolden, what's the call there?
I think that's a good call by the refs.
It fell out off of Windsor. So Bolden looking ahead of Commons, just trying to find some space. He'll find Al Stewart. And he's getting hassled by Gibson right now. just getting it over the line. McDowell spins, has some space. Now to Bolden, 8 seconds of the shot clock. 2:39 left. McDowell in the corner. No, so close for Stephen McDowell from such a...
Not sure I like that shot at all. Double covered and from the corner. It's not a very high percentage shot, that's for sure.
So a foul going against Al Stewart. His third foul of the night. The team is still over the limit. Express get the ball back. It'll be LaSalle to Gibson. 2.5 left now in the fourth. LaSalle takes it. Now to Quinnell Brown, and that's going to be a call against Stephen McDowell. Well, well, well. The Express get the ball back. 3-point game, 2:16 on the clock. It's adding up here. This is going to be a great ending here at Budweiser Gardens. Quinnell Brown at the line. Makes the second shot, 83-82.
Almost a big turnover there. McDowell facing troubles.
McDowell was in tough there with Buckley, and that's an 8-second violation.
You see the press causing some panic with the Lightning. Windsor doing a good job of being aggressive, and now they get a chance to take the lead here.
Gibson charges through, gives it off to LaSalle. And what's the call there?
I believe that's going to go against, I didn't see the Lightning flare, but it's going to be a shooting foul.
Wow. Off to Maurice Bolden. So now with 2 minutes and a second on the clock, Kevin LaSalle has a chance to give the Express the lead.
Very friendly bounce on the first one.
It's tied up 83-all. And the Express have a lead with 2 minutes to go. Zane Johnson comes in now. Oh, what's the call there? They're saying it went off the Express.
Common's adamant that it wasn't.
The bench is very upset, so here comes the Zane Johnson. As Emmanuel Little comes out. Interesting pick to bring in Zane Johnson at this point.
He's there for threes. If this game gets tight and they think Johnson can make an open shot, they want his shooting ability there.
Here's Johnson now. He's setting the play. Stewart now to Bolden. 10 seconds of the shot clock. Bolden spins. Looking for some space. He nearly loses it. 4 seconds of the shot clock. It'll be taken by Marvin Phillips. He misses. So now the Express get the ball back. What a swing in momentum. The London Lightning came back in this game, and now they're down.
Big mismatch here. Common's up against Zane Johnson.
Off to Brown. Spins in the corner. Now Gary Gibson has it, and what's the call? Wow. Out of bounds.
Very surprised right now. Lightning going with a smaller lineup. Zane Johnson ended up getting stuck having to try and defend Chris Commons on that possession. They need to change that lineup and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Emmanuel Little comes in, replaces Maurice Bolden. Minute 13 left. Express have a 1-point lead here. 1:08 on the clock now. 12 seconds on the shot clock.
They're going to say he stepped over, half-court violation on McDowell.
And there's a timeout for the Express. Stephen McDowell on the over and back. Wow.
Tough break for the London Lightning. Now Windsor has a chance to widen this gap to a 3-point lead. That's a rough, very rough break for the Lightning.
Well, going ahead, you mentioned that Chris Commons is getting the better physical million out of that, but it's going to be interesting to see how the matchups come down here tonight.
Well, the Lightning really cannot afford to have St. Johnson being the guy defending up against Chris Commons. Chris Commons is way too good of a player and a big man. Not that St. Johnson's a bad defender, but the advantage works out in Commons' favor. And I'm not so sure it works out in the Lightning's favor on the other end. So I would think that's why they brought Little in, because he's a more physical guy. He can handle the size of Commons a little better than Johnson. Johnson more suited to play in that small forward shooting guard game. So look for that to hopefully not happen again.
Coming up on 9:30 local time here in London. Again, in case you missed it, the St. John Millrats beat Moncton, and we're just going to try to keep tabs on that Mississauga-Brampton game as it develops. Not a whole lot of updates out of there right now. We know it's in the fourth quarter. Mississauga had a sizable lead there. 1 minute and 5 seconds left. 84-83, the Windsor Express have the lead, they have the ball. Chris Commons will chip it in. And he'll toss it long here to Dominic Buckley, now to Gary Gibson. He's up against Al Stewart. Out of Brown, and there is a foul, and it looks like it's gonna go against Marvin Phillips.
Yeah, he pushed Commons in the back. I think Commons might have sold it a bit, but ref decided it was a foul.
And it's coming down to fouls in this game. But, you know, in that first quarter, there were practically no fouls at all, and now we're seeing the game decided at the line. Commons, money on the first shot. 85-83. 57 seconds left. Three-point game.
And that's why you gotta make your free throws. Instead of this being a one-point game, Commons puts the onus on the Lightning to get back in this game.
Stewart. St. Johnson. Back to Stewart here. 44 seconds left. Loses the ball. Can he keep it? And that's a jump ball. And
Arrow
it's gonna
goes to Windsor.
Wow.
Stewart just bounced it off his own knee there.
So the Express get the ball back. London need a stop. 39 seconds left. And really, it's coming down to mental flubs for this London Lightning team. And that's going to be a foul. I mean, you talk about the over and back, and then these fouls that have come out of nowhere. I mean, it's...
Well, this foul is the fact that it's a close game. They're going to try and foul the Windsor players right now with 3 points different in a 37-second game. Expect to see a couple of fouls here as the Lightning try and hope that Windsor misses some of these free throws so they can get back in this game. Free throws has been an issue tonight. Maybe there's some good fortune waiting for the Lightning.
They're just losing possession on a couple of shots, and London have been in tough, but the Windsor Express get both, and now it is a 5-point game. The Windsor Express lead 88-83. London took the game back, and Windsor took it back again.
In the fourth quarter, the London Lightning can't be happy that they were up by 9, and now they find themselves behind the 8 ball down 3.
Well, well, well. Again, looking ahead to those next games, London Lightning playing playing Mississauga on Saturday, and then playing Brampton on the Tuesday after. So they got a week off, pretty sizable time off in this schedule, anyways, and then trying to come right back. Meanwhile, the Windsor Express, they are at home to Brampton next Saturday in their home opener, and then they are home to the Island Storm on Thursday. Our next game will be on the 15th. London Lightning are playing that, and we've got just a couple other games happening this month, but London Lightning hosting the Island Storm in
That'll
2 weeks' time. Yeah.
That'll be a very big game.
I mean, Al Stewart, rival, the narratives
Williams on the Storm too. And we get our first look at Renardo Sidney, the former McDonald's All-American and a great player in the SEC at Mississippi State.
So many stories to come out of that game. We'll be looking forward to giving you that one here on sportslive24.net. Right now we're giving you this one. It is tight. The London Lightning down. They need to score. They got 30 seconds left to do it. Johnson on the inbound. Phillips, Stewart, McDowell, and Little on the floor for London. Pretty much all of them can shoot threes. They're going to need a couple of those, likely.
Well, you look at the lineup they have right now for the Lightning. You've got McDowell, Johnson, Phillips, who are probably your best three-point shooters, all on the floor right now.
Johnson, it's tipped, and that's going to be a kickball. Ball gets fired back in, and Johnson will try again. Similar play now out to Phillips. LaSalle is guarding him. Gives off to Zane Johnson. Quick three. It is no good. And that's Little on the rebound. He'll toss it back in. Now this is Marvin Phillips for three at the top.
Boom! Big play by Marvin Phillips. Great job by him. That looked like a disjointed play, but Emmanuel Little, and how many times have we seen this in that game, doesn't give up on a ball that looks like it's headed out of bounds, makes a pass, and Phillips had already had a step on Chris Commons, who I guess was a little antsy in getting down the floor, started running down to get over on offense, and Phillips then had the position and a wide open three, and he made it.
88-86, the Express will have the ball. It looks like they want to talk to the ref. I'm not quite sure about what, about where the ball will be inbounded here. Big play from London. Big play from London again. You said Little, great play, but Zane Johnson, even that shot on the near side that caused that rebound, he had a great chance at that, and he was in double coverage by the looks of it.
Yeah, Johnson, rough miss, but again, Little, the hustle to go get that ball. And Commons just a little antsy to get back, well, I guess not get back, but to get on offense. Marvin Phillips took advantage, and now we're looking at a very, very tight finish. Look right now for a quick foul from the Lightning. They can afford to give it up. They've been doing a great job of staying out of foul trouble at this point. Marvin Phillips just decided to join the Windsor Express huddle for a second there. Maybe see what they got cooking.
It's worth a try. 25 seconds left. It's been a great game. Welcome back, basketball. Chris Commons on the inbound. He'll be passing it over Zane Johnson. Commons. It's getting tipped in.
Oh, wow.
And is that going to be a foul? And the player that went through there was Dominic Buckley. He seems to be all right. He got
Quinnell
up.
Brown. It was Quinnell Brown who got acquainted with some fans there.
Oh, he's still down.
They're checking on some fans now just to make sure all the fans in their seats are okay. Brown went in very, very fast. I think one of the fans might be. Oh, I hope everyone down there's okay.
Yeah, there's you can just sort of see them in the bottom, and
the great staff here at Budweiser Gardens is just checking on them to make sure everyone's all fine.
Well, in that case, hopefully they're all right. Back to the game, and that is a foul. And now Windsor go back to the line.
It definitely looked physical. Both guys were going after each other there, and I saw a little bit of a push by Little, but I feel like it was mostly Brown's momentum that carried him over there.
89-86, both shots down by Brown. Stewart comes across, off to Zane Johnson. Quick three, it is good!
Deep three, and boy did they need that. Zane Johnson clutch, and they're fouling right now.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Little and Brown getting after each other, especially after that play. Now Phillips getting into Brown's face too.
And the refs separate, and Coach Carlos Knox comes out, tries to get Marvin Phillips away, and they continue to yammer. Well,
I guess one thing we know for sure this year is the Windsor-London rivalry's back.
I don't think it ever left. Animosity between two guys that have played each other in this league already. Is Knox now talking to his team, and the refs will be certainly talking this one over as we move into the last 18 seconds of this game. 90-89, the Express have the lead, but again, London fouled there, foul Windsor rather. Look to try to get maybe a 3 on the next play.
Just an update on the fan on the sideline who looked like they may be injured. It looks like they're going to be okay. I didn't see anyone walking away with the staff when the staff left, so I believe the fan's all right.
And just to dip away from this game real quick, the Power still lead in Brampton, 107-95. 2 minutes remain in that one, but again, the Mississauga Power lead Brampton 107-95 in the Peel Region rivalry. And the only other game in the Central, obviously, tonight, 2 other teams playing. 18.6 on the clock. And here we go. Quinnell Brown, no pressure. Oh, there's a technical foul there as well. That'll go against Emmanuel Little. So there's the technical. John Hart comes into the game.
Quinnell Brown been very good at the free throw line all night. Has some big ones to make here. Makes the first.
To the line. Quinnell Brown.
Second shot is no good. Stewart
miss.
Off to McDowell. He's going to take it through all the way off to Phillips. No foul. No foul?
No foul, but still lightning ball.
10.9 on the clock. 91-89. So there you go, just the 2-point difference. And that was Phillips who was obstructed there. Stewart with the inbound.
Gotta move it.
Fouled.
Almost. Marvin Phillips gets to go to the line, though. 2 absolutely crucial free throws for the Lightning here.
9.4 on the clock right now. And again, Marvin Phillips to the line for 2. Wow.
And there goes the leading scorer for the Windsor Express and their best free throw shooter, Quinnell Brown, out of the game with 6 fouls.
And now Tony Bennett comes back into the game to the odds of applause here in Budweiser Gardens.
Bennett being brought in, he can make a lot of 3-pointers, and he has a history with the Lightning last year of making some clutch shots.
All right, here comes Marvin Phillips. 2-point lead for the Express, now down to 1.
Crucial basket right now. Marvin Phillips needs to make this basket or else the Lightning will be in a lot of trouble.
It's good.
Big shot by Phillips. Listen to that crowd.
And another timeout called. And this time by Windsor by the looks of it. Wow. All right, 91-91. The Express have the ball. And Marvin Phillips, the man of the hour, brings them back, and he's taking a well-deserved rest right now.
With Quinnell Brown out of the game, that would have been the obvious selection for who's going to take this shot for Windsor. Now you got to look at Commons. He's been their go-to guy in the past, but he's also had a bit of a rough game. So you just have to hope Commons can make that shot. If not, they might go to one of their guards, Gibson or Buckley, for the shot.
Someone's got to do it. Again, 91-91. Under 10 seconds on the clock. I think it's 9.7 by the looks of it. And that's all that separates these two teams right now in terms of the end of this game. We could get some overtime. Could get some extra NBLC action for the season opener. It all depends on what happens in the next 9 seconds.
Just listen to that crowd. This is the loudest game of NBL basketball I think I've ever heard.
It's been the closest game, certainly near the end. All right, let's get to the basketball. Buckley on the inbound here. As we see Elvin Mims comes in last second to replace John Hart.
Knox must not have seen a like-up. Pardon me, Knox must have seen a matchup he didn't like.
Tony Bennett manages not to go across half. He'll take it now, 2 seconds on the clock. He comes in, and it will not drain.
Whoa, what a finish we have geared up here. I thought Bennett had that. He had the great lane to the basket. How poetic would it have been for Bennett to put away his former team? Instead, we get some free basketball here. What a game this has turned out to be.
91 all, heading into the 5th period here at Budweiser Gardens. It's not a tie. It doesn't go down as a tie. It doesn't go down. So we've got some extra basketball coming up here. And very, very close to Tony Bennett. You're right. Great little move. Great job to stay back after being pushed right up to the line.
And that's a basket. That's the type of shot that we saw Tony Bennett make about 1 million times last year.
1:36 left before we come back. Again, I don't know how many times we've seen overtime here. I mean, I can remember one game, obviously when they played the Island Storm in that second season, there was an overtime game then, but very rarely have we seen very many games go to overtime at Budweiser Gardens. And lucky enough to have that here tonight. 91 all. Both teams in their huddles, figuring out their game plan, moving forward into some extra ball. Any predictions to come out of this extra period?
Well, I like what both teams have been doing in this 4th quarter here. Look for the Lightning to really, really rely on some of their guards here. They need McDowell to start making some big shots for sure.
40 seconds on the clock. All right, here we go. London versus Windsor. Extra time coming up. John Hart to inbound. Just waiting for the time to expire on the clock. There we go. We got 5 minutes on it now. Stewart has it. Gives it off to Hart. Takes it, tosses it up, it's no good. LaSalle hands it off, and Tony Bennett will take it now. Here comes Gibson. Chris Commons from the corner, it's no good. Mims stays in this game, being subbed in last second there. Stewart, Phillips, Commons matching up with him. He takes the shot for 3. No. Mims with an easy offensive rebound, and now off to Stephen McDowell. He pushes underneath, passes to John Hart. Back to McDowell, it tips out and off a play.
Rough luck continues for the Lightning. They could have used a basket there. Start to put the pressure on Windsor.
All right, so Maurice Bolden comes back into the game. London looking to add some size from John Hart, who comes out. Gibson. Pushes around Bolden, it will drop.
Gibson with some very composed play, making a key basket. Those are the first points of the overtime.
93-91, 3:51 left. Phillips' pass to Bolden was tipped. LaSalle gives it off, and now this is Gary Gibson who will carry it across for Windsor. Commons, Mims right by his side here. Long shot is no good from Windsor, and now here come the London Lightning. 3:17 left. Al Stewart to McDowell.
Phillips wants the ball against Commons here.
Phillips, and that is going to be a foul.
That's number 6 on Loiselle. That'll be the end of the night for him, I believe.
3:06 on the clock now.
Loiselle gets lucky as they charge it to Commons.
And now Marvin Phillips back at the line, try to even up this game. It's good. Second one misses, well short. Gibson. Got McDowell in front of him. Gets some space off to Chris Commons. It is no good. And a foul. It's going to go against Maurice Bolden. Wow. So that is Maurice Bolden's 6th foul.
That'll be the end of the night for him. He gave them some great minutes here, too.
Zane Johnson will come in to replace him. Meanwhile, Chris Commons is at the line, ready to go.
Hopefully they've got a good matchup here. Commons was giving Zane Johnson some fits earlier in this game.
It's good. 2-point lead for Windsor now. 2:51 on the clock. No good.
Gotta make your free throws.
Stewart to Phillips. Quick shot, and it's no good. Ball gets tossed up here to Buckley. And big swat from Stewart. Doesn't bring the ball out, though. Gibson. Squeaks his way around now into the corner. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Long shot from LaSalle. No good for the three-pointer. Stewart on a big rebound. He's going to carry the ball for London, and what's the call? Went out off of Lightning. Oh, it's a foul. And that's going to go against Gary Gibson. Now Al Stewart goes to the line. .213 on the clock, and a huge miss.
Very tough miss. Al Stewart, a vet, too.
Second one's good. One-point game, 2 minutes left. This is Tony Bennett. It's tipped by Mims. Commons gets it back. Pushes his way underneath. No good.
Phillips disrupted that shot. Great job.
McDowell has it now. 1:47 on the clock. London to take the lead by 2 points. No! Windsor take it right back here. Bennett. He's got LaSalle in front. Pushes through, and what's going to happen here? It's rough. Stewart, long pass here to Elvin Mims.
Huge basket by Mr. Reliable, the assistant coach. Elvin Mims able to get those 2 points. We got a 95-94 game, 1 minute and 12 seconds to play.
Gary Gibson, his team is down. They're not out. Chris Commons now. Back to Gibson. Wild shot. LaSalle takes it. Now it's to Zane Johnson. And the London Lightning in no rush right now. They've got a 1-point lead. 53 seconds on the clock. McDowell. And there's a call against Tony Bennett by the looks. There we go, so that'll only be his second foul. But here we go, Al Stewart goes to the line. Great chance to put his team up by 3.
Well, again, there's a big difference here. If he makes one of these, it's a 2-point game, but if he makes both of them, now it's a 3-pointer. It's a tougher shot for Windsor to make. Very crucial free throws for Al Stewart. Nails the first one.
1 for 1. It's a good start. It's no good. And is that going to be a foul?
Commons looks like he got a hand in the eye.
It'll go against the Express. Wow. Against Gary Gibson. So the luck goes the other way now to
All
London.
you had to do there for Windsor was get that rebound and not foul. Now London gets to go to the line. Instead of the 3-point lead that if Stewart had made that shot, they get a chance to open this even wider. 4-point lead. Now you're looking at a 2-possession game unless you get lucky and get fouled taking a 3. But most teams are smart enough that that wouldn't happen.
43 seconds on the clock, and we
Looks
still
like there might be some blood from Commons. That's why they would put the towel down there. Maybe he got a fingernail or something, scratched him.
And he's got the. He's getting some medical attention right now. And that's Chris Commons. There's a great shot of it right there. Looks like it's just around his nose, yeah. And he can stand. He's going to walk it off.
Now, because there has been blood, he can't actually stay on the court, aside from the fact that he's holding the gauze to his nose still. But were he able to, because there's been blood and because they had to stop play, he would have to go to the bench no matter what.
Right. All right, so if anything, we get a lull in play here. 43 seconds left as Chris Commons is ushered off to the bench. The visiting Windsor fans in the background there showing their sympathy. Okay, so Eric Parker comes into the game, and Marvin Phillips back at the line could make it a 4-point game, 2 possessions essentially, with 43 seconds left. Vito Frigia looking in the background. First one's good.
This is the important one. This is the one that makes it a 2-possession game.
(97-94), 43 seconds left.
A problem with Phillips' shorts, apparently. Now, I've never seen that in my life.
The crowd.
So, Little putting on the Little and Phillips just trading shorts in the middle of a game. And he makes it. If that doesn't lighten the mood in overtime, I don't know what does.
What was that?
That's
All
a
right.
new one. Perhaps it's a trick to help relax Marvin Phillips, to lighten the mood before his
I don't know.
foul.
I don't know very many people that could drop their pants in front of 5,000 people. Marvin Phillips clearly doesn't care.
Someone should tell Marvin Phillips you were supposed to imagine the crowd with no clothes on, not him.
That is amazing. Well, it worked. 4 points.
Now we've got ourselves a 2-possession game. This is one of the closest games, and holy cow, do we ever have a home opener here.
An amazing game. I mean, people are dropping their pants. I mean, it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Marvin Phillips, everyone, but you know, coming back from that play he had, the three, you know, that really forced and got everything started from London's end. And then now this, he's really been a clutch performer in this game. I mean, whether he wears pants or not, basically.
Well, sometimes when you're at the foul line, you don't want to be caught with your pants around your ankles, but this time it seemed to work out. Look, right now though, they need a stop. Because Windsor can put up points. So if the Lightning don't get a stop here, they're putting themselves in a very tight situation. I know we've got 43 seconds left. So we're looking at, if the Lightning play their cards right, say the Lightning don't score on their next offensive possession. If you have Windsor score here and the Lightning fail to score, then you really hope you've killed enough clock to give them a challenge on that last shot. So this possession, if they can get a quick stop, would be a huge difference for the Lightning.
All right, here come the Windsor Express, 43 seconds on the clock. This is Bennett on the inbound. It goes to Gibson. Gibson, he's got LaSalle breaking in the middle. It'll go out here towards Petaway. And now back to Bennett, 15 seconds. Bennett gets it off!
Makes the big three against the former team. Wow, what a shot by Tony Bennett.
Lightning 98, Express 97. And here comes Al Stewart. 23 seconds left. He takes it back and blocked! Phillips gets it. Really calm here as McDowell has it now. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Foul.
Smart job by McDowell there. He was able to take it back. He was thinking about taking the shot, but he decided to kill some clock instead. And also Marvin Phillips getting there and getting that rebound. That's so crucial. Great defensive play by, I believe it was Lozelle, to get that block, because Stewart looked like he had a clear path to the basket. I thought that was 2 points for sure. So great job by the London Lightning to stay awake on there. The Windsor with some tough ball luck now face themselves behind the 8 ball with the Lightning going to the free throw line. But again, we've seen people struggle tonight at the free throw line. It's not over yet. If McDowell misses one of these, we could be in for a very exciting finish.
12 seconds left. Lightning have a 1-point lead. McDowell has 2 shots.
Ooh.
Misses the first one.
I think I've said it about 18 times, but you gotta make your free throws.
Wow. This one is important. 12 seconds left to make it a 2-point game. Stephen McDowell at the line.
Made sure that one was a no-doubter. Now we got a big finish here.
8 seconds left. Here come Windsor. Gibson off to Bennett. 3, 2, 1. No, it's blocked. It's out. The London Lightning win. 99-97.
Just listen to that crowd. That's a beautiful thing right there. Tony Bennett, I don't know why he was taking a 3-pointer there. They had time to set up a better shot than that one. I think Bennett might have panicked. Maybe needed to take another look at the clock there. Great job by the Lightning to force that play. Wow, what a game. That's everything you can ask for. We're talking a 2-point game that went into overtime. Not as much scoring as you're expecting, but a physical game. We saw people fouling out. We saw some rough stuff between Little and between Quinnell Brown. It's a great game all around by both teams.
Absolutely. So final score 99-97 after overtime. Wow. Wow. All right, well, let's do it again in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, so for Chris, Bill, and everyone behind the scenes here at SportsLive24.net, thank you very much for tuning in. The final score after overtime, the London Lightning 99, Windsor Express 97.